Okay, I believe we're ready everywhere. Okay, so folks, I gotta set some extra stuff up today because after today's LPL games, I'm gonna be playing Resident Evil Requiem. So I'm gonna be starting a playthrough of that game. I'm gonna be doing that after LPL until I'm done with the game, basically. So yeah, stick around after LPL if you'd like to see some peak horror gaming action. It's one of the classic gaming franchises now, Resident Evil. But I'm going to be playing that after the games end today, so after that's done, you'll have a little bit more entertainment as well. Only on Twitch, though. If you're on YouTube, I'm not going to put that on YouTube for that point, because I don't know how to deal with the algorithm of playing multiple games on my YouTube. That's the thing. Okay, I'm going to quickly... Well, I think I have a coffee already ready. I was brewing one. Probably is ready, actually. So I'm going to go get... Hello, Sam, thank you. I need to go set up the PlayStation, Sam.
Yes!
So do you mind if I... do that at some point? When's it easiest for me to do that?
Probably between one of the games is probably the answer.
So not now?
I could really use a Wii.
Sure, okay. So Sam's going to the toilet, so I can't set up. Okay, good. Go on, you do it. The stayplation. Yeah, that's the one. Let me switch the scene with the things on. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Resi. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be doing a game review on post-game clarity. Which is just such a... What a stupid fucking name. I love it, but what a stupid fucking name. So we're going to be doing a review of that. So it's going to be myself, Monte Cristo. Who else is doing this one? I think Doe is doing this one. Who else is doing this one? It's myself, Doe, and Monty. Who else is doing it? I don't think Wolf is on this one. Oh, Jamada's doing it. Yeah. Jamada's going to be part of it. That's cool. Because Jamada's been doing a lot of the Resi games on stream anyway. In fact, he just... I know that Kitty's been doing them too. Seems like everyone's been in a Resi mood recently, probably because the game's releasing. But yeah, we get to see Leon back. Which is going to be cool. We should probably talk about WBG BLG, though, and why this series, though it may be BLG favored, why it might not be as simple as that. Because Weibo are uniquely chaotic in the LPL. Like, uniquely chaotic. There's no other way to put it. This team is not normal. They're a team which, they're a team which has continually found ways to make in mid-game and late-game interesting plays, we'll say. And, you look back to their first-round matchup, and it was no different when you look at their first two games, really, in that one versus IG. You could see how crazy both those teams could go toe-to-toe with each other in macro and quick decision-making. To the point where actually, like, you look at this team versus the likes of, well, JDG, who, JDG are a team which do very well on Plan A goes well. I think that teams like Weibo are teams which do very well when there is no Plan A. They're really good when there is no script. So that means they kind of like have this unique counter to teams like JDG. The problem is versus a team like BLG, which they're up against today, BLG just have too much sucker punch power. They slap you early and you don't have the same tools to play through the game that you'd like to. I really want Xiaohu to win Worlds before he retires. Yeah, sure. I can understand that too. The same thing goes for me though with players like Knights. Knight for me desperately needs a Worlds win. That guy's so good. I need him to win. It'd be so important for him to get that accolade. Both Xiaohu over his whole career though, you could definitely argue the same thing, 100%. Resident Evil was your first game on the Wii. Damn, there were some good games on the Wii. Even ones which there were some good traditional. Well, I say traditional games. Good games kind of made their way over from other consoles, and the Wii ports were sometimes very, very interesting. Knight and Xiaohu can't win at the same time feels bad. Yeah, Xiaohu had to win during that. Yeah, if Xiaohu had won during 23 Worlds in that finals instead of, I'll leave it there.
WBG 的小虎选手，先有请他和大家打声招呼。
Hello， 大家好，我是 WBG 的中单选手小虎。
欢迎小虎。那上一轮的比赛呢，两支队伍都是3比0取得的胜利，所以今天在赛前你们的心态是怎样的？
其实上一轮的比赛我们失误还是比较多的吧，然后回去也进行了复盘，然后今天的话大家还是比较有信心的。
那今天面对强敌，你觉得焦点会在哪些地方呢？
因为现在游戏最重要的是中期的运营和团战吧，所以在这一方面要着重强调。
好，就让我们一同期待今天的比赛。 我们邀请到的是 BLG 的 Night 选手，先要请他和大家打声招呼。
大家好，我是 BLG 的中单 Night。
欢迎 Night。那上一轮的比赛呢，你们两个队伍都是3比0取得了胜利，所以说你们在结束之后有做怎样的总结和复盘呢？
我觉得虽然是3比0，但我们前面做的地方还是挺多做的不好的吧，所以下场前面要打得更好一点。
那你觉得今天面对 WBG 胜负手会是什么呢？
不用两名队伍下野都打得非常好吧，所以下野水平基本就赢了。
就让我们期待今天的比赛了。
Whoever's in charge of the sound work, I actually took my headphones off. How bad was the sound thingy? Oh, he talks like a robot. Right, I actually took my headphones off for that one. Hey everyone though, how's it going? Is that Viper selling merch? I think so in the advert. They'll do that for promotional stuff. It makes sense, right? If you can get your players involved with that, you tend to have a lot better success with marketing drives. Okay, you know what I should do as well? I forgot to do this the other day. I should set up my GOL tabs just to get a little bit of a better read on draft. One of the easiest ways to get a read on a draft phase is to just kind of pull up the GOL.GGs for both teams. So I'm going to do that now. Top lane's going to be fun again, actually. You know, in regular season, we saw first series, Zuka kind of deck Bin, and then Bin in the second round was a lot better. Sound is good? Cool. Cool. Compliment for Zero. Has Wayward been on the analyst desk for long? I actually haven't been tracking that very well, so I'm not sure at all. Wait, what awkward voice chat did you just have, Duo? I don't have context for that. I don't think if you've messaged about it, I haven't seen it yet. Let me see that. Good morning, everyone. Let's get this bread. Yeah, well, I could use some breakfast myself too. Yeah. I'm here for the unofficial, official LPL playoff English cast. That's the one, Rubik. That's us. The officially unofficial. That was our old tag, wasn't it?
LPL OU. Let's go.
Yeah. Gosh, things are when I say here OU, I just think of like OU for overused from Pokemon. You know the Smogon ranking, which is the singles format that they use for that. Like it's the stage below Ubers, right? Overused. Yeah. And then you have like the anything goes thing, which is like your singles Mega Rayquaza and stuff. Yeah. Oh, you made a bad impression on Cecil and Philip. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Well, you made a very good impression here. You know, that's don't. Sometimes that'll happen. You can't hang up on social interactions for forever. And yeah, well, you got a place here. Don't you worry about it. And regardless of your first impressions, as good as bad as they were, like you're fine here, Joe. Mega Rayquaza. Oh yeah, Zacian. Oh god. You're good? Cool. Alright, Sam, I'm gonna leave you in charge of the stream for a bit and I'm gonna try and start setting up the PlayStation. That's good. It ends on the 28th blade, although good question actually.
Ooh, there's our Weibo intro. I have no idea what to expect from Weibo today. I really don't. They had an interesting series, shall we say. Although, with the way the LPL is going right now, it would be so on brand for BLG 2 to fall into a lower bracket. They shouldn't. BLG should just be mechanically better than Weibo in the early stages. Should make things a little interesting. Here come our teams.
欢迎 WBG 紫卡杰杰 L 二哈队长小虎。欢迎 BLG 冰勋 Viper On 队长 Knight。
Interesting that the mid laners are always introduced last in LPL like this.
LPL 第一赛段淘汰赛第4代 WBG 对阵 BLG 即将开始 ，LPL 无畏进巅峰。
Great bit of music. Liking this. Does team captain thing actually mean anything? I don't know. It'll depend on the team is the honest answer. You don't have to do the ref interactions in the way you do in sports. So in rugby, the team captain is very important because not only are they there as a kind of leader figure for the players on the field, but two, they're the ones that are tasked with making calls on what they're doing with a penalty or a free kick. And also, they're the only ones allowed to talk to the referee. No other player is. So your ability to handle a referee and discuss what's going on is very, very important. Nearly into draft. Flip the camera on briefly. Move over a bit for it. Here we go. Ha. How are we doing, chat? Morning, JC. Morning, Cybergirl. Or Cyber Geek. Sorry, Cyber Gig? Oh my god, can't read from here. Cyber Gig, I apologise. I misread your name 3 times. Hey, Bell. Hey, Kiwi. When is Dokes playing? Yeah, that's the question, is it? Big Dokes. He's having a very Chinese time of his life, isn't he? Hey, Shrimp Cakes. Okay. We might be edging towards draft by the sounds of that music and that light show. Oh yeah, I can get behind that draft music. BLG on blue, Weibo on red. Does look like Weibo will be granted first pick here by the looks of it. Orianna off the board. Weibo not banning the Azir, and I don't think they're going to have to.
Yeah, worth noting that, so Weibo won the coin coss. There are the coin toss, yes. Not the coin cost. That was great job, mate. But yeah, effectively, because we have like effectively even seeding coming out of first round, it's because, you know, results change. There is a coin toss for this matchup, and of course there was for JDG versus AL as well. Weibo won and they chose first pick. So the Orianna and Azir both banned by BLG. We have seen other teams do this. It's not like it's just a BLG thing, just banning one of them. We still have Rumble, we still have Jarvan, we have Varus, we have Ryze, we have Yunara. So many powerful picks left up on the table. I do wonder if it's just the Rumble lock-in. It feels like everyone goes for that's the first pick if they can, but no, it's the Ryze viewed as more important.
Wow. Okay, well that's a big one. Does Knight want to pull in something like an Onivia early? And there is a world, I suppose, where the Ryze gets flexed top. It's that kind of time when we hit playoffs where people start to pull out some more unusual drafts, and normally that's a little later on, but sometimes people like to pull a bit of a fast one in the first game to catch people off their guards if they've got something special planned. Varus is let through draft though, and again with some of the other nerfs to things like the Jace, the Malphite not really having the same priority, Varus is right back to the top of the list again.
I think that with the Malphite going down in priority, it does empower your mobile carries. I think that Malphite was holding a lot of them in check, stuff like your Aphelios, your Varus. can really make a difference. Now, the Talia, not hard to lock in here. It would match the global with the Rise. You could go towards the Vi Talia later. In fact, you don't have to lock the Talia right now because mid lane's already locked in for Weibo. They're not going to take that one away from you.
Baiting just the blind Trundle, but instead they go straight towards the Talia, which I think is, as you were noting, a very sensible option. Plays fine into the Rise. It's another global. We've seen this matchup a lot.
Now, in pro drafting, on like the response to first pick, you almost always see people lock in the same role as the first pick champion, almost always, because I think what a lot of teams don't want to do is kind of blind pick 2 champions when you're on quote-unquote red side and you have counter pick, because they don't want to lose a counter pick. But I do think it sometimes leaves you vulnerable to you know, so for instance, what happens if Jarvan gets locked in here, right, against the Varus? That could be a very real thing, which could be quite dangerous. I know against the Talia is an anti-dash champion, but you do currently have 2 immobile champions. That could be an issue. You could have locked the Jarvan yourself and saved your Varus the trouble. Now, if that Jarvan ends up going to destroy this draft onto that Varus, BLG might be kicking themselves. They could have locked it in on 2, even though it would have been 2 blind picks, which is seen as a draft faux pas.
It is. We're keeping our eyes on that one because I think I agree with you. Again, I'd have to look at stats, but my gut feeling says you're absolutely right. Hover of the Kiana was fun there, but I think we might see something more like the Wukong. I could be tempted into a Nocturne here when you've already got the global. But I think as we're seeing, a few of these hovers all make sense. They'll go back towards the Vi they were debating earlier, and Shun loves the Vi.
Hey, with you as well. How's it going over there?
Sub the other day. So you did the combo of sub into follow and then the first message, which I appreciate the commit.
Appreciate you all. Shun is one of the better Vi players in the LPL. He was one of the people that really benefited from the 2023 Vi meta. Technically, it came out in 22, which of course he was very good at there too. But really, on BLG, Shun is where he found his ability to aggressively, quickly make plays on the Vi and start exploding teams in a way which they just weren't expecting. You know, you're against Jie. I think Jie and Shun are the 2nd and 3rd best junglers in the LPL behind Tarzan, but even then, Tarzan fell yesterday into the lower bracket against the hands of Junjie, which you weren't expecting at all, really. It was an incredible upset by JDG, and you have to praise them for that. It was not an expected victory, which makes it even more important. Weibo, I don't think, are expected to win today. I don't know if the thing about BLG and Weibo is that they're both such chaotic teams. It's more likely for me to see something random happen in this series than others because of just the inherent chaos of, well, just look back to Weibo IG, even though it was a 3-0 the first 2 games of that series, which is not normal League of Legends, folks. They weren't normal. And that does give me some eyes locked onto this series, because BLG, I expect them to win, but it's not a done deal. Both of these teams have, well, a coin cost between the two of them, Sam.
Yeah, that's the one. But I shout out over into YouTube chat, so I see Christian Hell's having a very similar conversation. Yeah, there's also a coin toss about which Weibo turns up, which, you know, there's some truth to. So I'm glad that we're all on the same page there, folks, and our teachings have come across to you all well. Second phase of picks now in. Got the Renekton band out there, avoiding that as a potential blind pick / counter pick option. I wonder whether they're thinking about locking support here if they're banning out things like the Renekton. There's the Bard option for On, who has been very good at this champion, actually. I wouldn't hate that at all here.
It gives you the ability to catch people out at long range. It gives you strong laning phase. You can well, you can't go for the Lulu for the Yunara, but you could go towards the Karma if you wanted more enchant strong laning phase. That wouldn't be an awful thing to do. You do want that lane priority though. You want something to give yourself that Yunara the extra go button and potentially be able to shield them up when the Vi jumps into them as well. That would be different. It does give you extra engage, and it does allow you to pick off something like that squishy Bard. It means the Yunara is kind of going it alone though versus a Vitalia combo, which can be a bit rough.
Let's see. Big engaged front line now for Weibo with the Jarvan and the Leona. Even the Rise kind of semi-bruisery. In fact, there's a lot of people here who'll be able to get in and get stuck in very fast. Kennen would potentially be the blind pick. I don't hate it when you've already got a Cataclysm and a Solar Flare to play with.
So what you do with the Leona into the Kennen is you take this draft away from being a Yunara draft and one into being just a full dive explode the backline comp. BLG don't have a front line. You need to lock in something that can consistently deal with that Kennen on the flank. My worry is Bin might pick the lane, and that won't help the team fight. If Zucker ends up getting ahead and he gets onto that flank, it doesn't matter what happened in the 1v1. BLG, you are playing with not just fire, but fire and lightning here. Now, the Yorick locked in for one of the first times this year, actually, in the LPL. We don't see much of this currently, despite the fact that it was a highly prioritized champion in 2025. I personally think Weibo walk away with the better draft. Now, there are some worries. The lanes are a little bit worrying. The Varus Bard should push in against the Nymaera and the Leona. I do think that the Yorick into the Kennen is very scary. The Yorick can do 1v2s versus the Kennen and the Jarvan. The Jarvan, once the Yorick gets ahead, you don't want to be visiting that lane too much. But if this game goes towards Kennen flanks, Ryze realm warping the Kennen into your team or behind it as well, I think that Weibo will have a lot of tools to punish BLG. I like this draft from Weibo.
Okay, eyes on. I think bot lane for me, for Viper and on, that Varus, that Bard could just be an X factor for the early game. But if they do get through the early game, I'm right there with you. I think I like what Weibo are offering here. It's just whether Weibo themselves are willing to offer it up in a meaningful and cohesive fashion, because they are Weibo Gaming.
So to really oversimplify, I think it is laning phase favored for BLG, and I think it's team fights favored for Weibo. So if Weibo can survive through to team fights, get the Kennen into the backline, I don't think BLG have the tankiness to survive a Kennen, Ryze, Yunara, AoE team fight, the Jarvan as well. I don't think the tankiness is there. We've seen multiple LPL teams try for low frontline compositions in this playoff so far. Very few of them have worked. Game 1, BLG will attempt the same problem. The Gyos will lead them on their way to a solution. Gyos.
There we go. I think I just saw a shadow in the audience there, not sure.
Oh, cool. Damn. I thought he was
in that case, I did
LCP,
not. In that case, yeah.
CFO.
In that case, I possibly did not.
Yeah. Okay.
It was only a brief.
You realize that he is playing in like a major region too.
Yeah, the reason I was like, that's shadow. It was like,
all right. So level 1 going well for Viper and On. Not unexpected because you have the Bard into Leona. The Zenith Blade does land. They use the heal there. But on the whole, the Leona can struggle in this laning phase. Erher, I think, was, however, the third best support, I think, in the LPL in the regular season. You know, he was just behind, I think, On and Kael. Erher was really good, you know, directly out-competing Vampire. I think Vampire's had great games, but Erher solidly beat him in both their regular season matchup, which is a good accolade now that we see what Vampire's doing in these playoffs, who I think has been one of JDG's best players across playoffs, actually. So, Erher, he's a player I've got my eyes on. I think that he's been very, very impactful for his team, and he is alongside Elk. Elk did not have a good first round of playoffs, but he has been in regular season the best LPL AD carry.
Indeed, he has, however, still been Elk, and that tends to mean that if things don't go super well for him, he has a habit of, shall we say, over-forcing his hand. He loves to play aggressively to get leads, and we saw like the Corky game, shall we say, where he went 2 and 5, not being exactly his brightest start.
So chat's actually putting this out that Shadow's already out with CFO, so it actually could have been him.
I genuinely thought it was. Like, that looked like him to me.
Perhaps, hang on, Ben cashing him in the baby cage. That's a problem there.
There's a flash available. Does Ben want to force it? No, he will not, and that's just great early chunks there. Zucker not having fun. Xiaohu also getting thrown about here, has to flash and ghost away. All well and good saying Weibo Gaming got a good team fight. The lanes may be tricky. They're going to try and get plays bot side. The stun onto the wall is good there with a bit of that flash away from Erher, as that arrow would have led to his death.
It's a flash for flash between Viper and Erher. They get the kill, but it's onto the support. So it's the AD carry surviving and getting the gold. However, Elk gets a kill on the other side, which means that Weibo still come away with a winning play. Potential dive onto Xiaohu, who has no summoners. You're absolutely right in calling that out. Xiaohu's trying to get his way away from the Vi, and does manage to do so. We'll use that blast cone to get under turret again, quite riskily actually. Again, he's still within, you know, one-shot range. And the reason he's having so many issues here is he starting item tier. He has no HP, no raw AP to contest these early trades, and Xiaohu, I think, despite the fact that he is going to get an earlier spike with that tier completing earlier, he's now lost himself some of that ability to play through lane. But you'll notice, Sam, that every single member of Weibo has gone for early laning items. Now, they didn't start with all of these, but they have double cull and a tier. They're saying, look, we need to get towards, we're not looking to fight early, we're looking to suck it up, and we'll get to that later.
Still hear the audio saying that'll be a clean feed stutter and not us. It's just the way of these things. And that will be where Zuck is trapped inside the baby cage again. Eats a massive last rites there. Look, Weibo Gaming know where their bread is buttered and is not in the laning phase. It comes in the main course, in the team fights. JJ with a little bit of a ward hatching there will not find any ingress into top lane. But this will be the question, right? As we said, look, Weibo Gaming, great if they get to the team fights, that's all well and good. And, you know, you like the draft, I was right there with you. But the question mark always is, this is BLG. Probably the best laning team in the LPL and one of the best laning teams in the world. Yep. They are an absolute terror if they're given priority. Bin chose the Yorick because he didn't want to have to give up that agency, that power in lane that he and BLG so prize. Yeah.
And you know, there's some other good comments in chat as well. You know, Sam, I think we've raised it. I feel like a great parent here, Sam. I think we've raised a wonderful analytical community. You know, you can get your folks. Not only could you get masters in league, you can get a masters in league. That's what we're teaching you here. Where they're talking about, well, okay, well, BLG have plenty of roaming threats too. You have the Talia and the Bard. I think that Weibo have much the same on the other side, so the people with the first move going towards the cannon lane may well flip this game as well. You know, Ryze, Talia, both have those globals to bring to bear. Leona and Bard love both going out onto the map and trying to make a difference there too. Weibo will be starting the dragon early off of the bot lane push.
Elk did, however, eat about 2 arrows in that trade. There was some very, very good chunks back, so that is a little bit problematic. Looking to try and chunk out some more. Elk left again at about a 3rd HP as a result of another arrow landing. So maybe forced to reset here on a timer he might not otherwise like. I don't like that wave state, actually. I'm not sure with Varus on top of the wave how much he can stay there, but there's a real world where it just gets frozen there, and there's no real wave for this poor Nymaera to get involved. They're going to fight over this Gromp instead. Smite fight available will be won by JJ.
Yeah, he doesn't actually use the smite itself. It's just the damage on it raw. And as we were seeing that, you know, the Nymaera getting poked out, that is a great example of why the Nymaera struggles into the Varus, because she doesn't have counterplay to that. She doesn't build that much sustain. Really only comes in as like 3rd or even 4th item at some points. And Elk getting pushed out like that, even with the kill, causes some issue for Weibo. But again, this is where BLG picked for. They picked for this early laning phase.
Very much so. Elk and Era will now shove up this bot lane. Reset comes on through, recurve bow for the side of Elk. It's very nice on the Nymaera for obvious reasons, but then look at the Varus infantry, and there's the Dirk to go alongside that early tier.
Oh yeah, that's when the poke starts to become, yeah, more of a problem. Of course, against the Leona Eclipse, shrugs it off a little bit better at the early levels, eventually later into the game, though. Varus arrow lands onto anyone from Weibo, and it's a problem. The thing is, if he puts himself out of position looking for that arrow, things go very badly versus Flash Cataclysm, Slicing Maelstrom. There were a couple of casters which I had to tell a while ago that it's not Maelstrom, it's Maelstrom. Yeah. Because it's different things. Maelstrom is like a sea storm. Yeah. It's very cool. And it was also a ride. There was a ride about Norway.
Ooh, hang on.
Adventure.
Level 6 just got hit. Elk stunned into the wall. He's going to have a lot of blighted arrow stacks. Does Varus want to flash for it? I don't think so. But they'll still do a lot of damage. JJ and Chao now looking to come on down here. Is it a Realm Warp or is it a Rune Warp? A question for both of us at every time we see Ryze in the game. They're trapped in the alcove, but are they really? The interrupt kind of through the magical journey will put On into a difficult position. Does have the flash, will not save him. And actually all the members of Weibo Gaming on that roam do actually get themselves a kill. Good work for them. And actually somewhere else they managed to pick up a second kill, obviously earlier on to...
Yes, that was on from the dive. So this was just
the
one kill in the fight. Sam, the spirit of bot lane is the spirit of adventure, and Weibo think, you know what, we're gonna go bring everyone down with the Rune Warp, the Realm Prison, many names as that Ryze ultimate got. Weibo bring everyone down there, but there is only a kill onto the Bard. It is a good magical journey. The tunnel out saves Viper from even having to blow the flash, which I thought he was almost guaranteed to have at that point. It's a very good counter engage from Airher. It means that they can't immediately follow up onto Elk. I genuinely think this Leona kind of interrupt on the combo saves the play. Airher, as we were saying, was probably 3rd best support in the region coming out of regular season. Flag Drag is timed to perfection onto the magical journey to knock the Bard out of it. And BLG say, look, we're not going to all in for this. We're already the member down in terms of numbers at the play, 3v4. Let's not test it.
What that does have mean though is that Elk is now 2-0. Weibo Gaming are up in gold, and for a comp that is supposed to be about the lane dominance, and in fairness, BLG have played the lanes themselves just fine, those 2 kills have managed to put things into a rather challenging point, I think, for BLG. You're going to need to get more out of this early game yet.
Yes, I agree, and this is why, I looked at Weibo's composition and I thought the competitive lanes, even if they're losing, they have some power, but the big thing is, can they survive the team fights? I don't think Zucker's going to be surviving this one. There's even a Talia coming up. If Jeje goes for this, I mean, it's still a 3v2. Rise coming up now, but no ult.
Flash, Maelstrom, no one's taken aggro. There's the seismic shove, and that'll be an easy kill. Flash away from Shun. Jeje will likely survive. Xiaohu is here. Jeje left low, but not going to be able to find all that much, even with the Cataclysm blown, and so Zucker dies, but does at least earn a couple summoners.
Okay, so both mid laners finding themselves a roam onto the map early. An ult from Xiaohu bot side, an ult from Knight top side. Even gold, and if even gold is the end state of this early game, then Weibo come out ahead of this. You were just talking about this. BLG need more from this early game. Now, they still have combos. You still have the Vitalia. You still have the Varus firing an arrow over the top of that combo too. It's not like BLG aren't without their ability to play out skirmishes and larger fights, but it's just not going to be safe to do so versus this crazy backline dive comp from Weibo that can come in from the Jarvan and the Kennen.
Indeed, Shun will pick up the early grubs here, or at least as best he can. There is a Jarvan around in mid lane, as is Ura. This gets a bit interesting because the wards around mid lane are actually all very Weibo Gaming favored. Ura stunning up On. Xiao, who's roaming over. On's going to try and get over here. He's followed by the Zenith Blade into the Solar Flare. On can't run far enough away. The vision control, superb from Weibo Gaming there, as On tried to join his mid laner to help around the grubs.
Dude, Eher is diffing On in this early game. On has had some really good bar games so far in this split. In fact, he had one just in round 1 of playoffs, but Eher has been really impressing me. The Leona is not really meant to have an early game versus Varus Bard. You're meant to be chunked out to high hell, really, and you can't really do much else about it. Zucker does have his ult coming back up. I'm not sure if it's up right now, or whether that's just the HUD lying to me. I don't know if they want to go for a play here. Well, I suppose they do if Knight's coming up, but he's been seen on that ward in the Phalanx.
They care. Out comes the Yunara. There is a Rise coming with a Realm Warp. They'll have to make this play fast. Remember, no flash, no ult for Zucker quite yet. The Seismic Shove lands. That should just be the death of the Kennen, and indeed it is. Been chunked, but not taken down, as the Maelstrom did indeed come up. Xiaohu here, Ura here, will not find too much more than that kill.
So Xiaohu's going to pick up that farm. Zucker is the guy which is losing the most here, and he's down 1,000 gold. That is a good win for BLG. If they hang on, there was recalling vision, Sam. The recalling vision.
They don't know if this is badly timed. Oh, Shun.
The other recall's complete. Shun doesn't get away home, though. He's missed the bus, Sam. He's missed the bus.
Wait for me. No.
Sam, he's getting a hearse instead of a bus now.
That's not public transport.
No, Sam, it's very much a private
affair. Yes,
private affair. I think it might be closed casket, that one. That was ugly. Shun gets blown up on the recall. BLG clearly not understanding the wards there. And this brings up another point, because you talked about this now with On getting corner bot side. We saw this again there. I think Weibo have been the best vision control team in the LPL out of regular season. If you go back to watch Weibo versus JDG, both times when they beat them in the regular season, and now you're watching games like this too, consistently you will see Weibo able to get a vision line down better than their opponents, even when you're against likes of Anyone's Legend, JDG, BLG, these top teams in the LPL. I think that Jeje and Eher have been the best vision control jungle support within the LPL at the very least. They've really impressed me with that. Yeah. Particularly because Weibo haven't had the best lanes. They haven't been the most dominant team. They've been mid-table in a sense, which is not a bad thing, but they're not a top team, especially not all the time. For them to have this aspect of, hey, they're probably best in the league at one of the most fundamental parts of Pro League of Legends, that speaks really well to them, Sam.
Yeah, if they can solve things like the patented Xiaohu flank int, the unfortunate teleport shenanigans that this team also occasionally...
Oh, it's just like network connections between brain and hands sometimes, Sam.
Yeah, like so something that we've seen a number of times. Like, we've got all this vision control. Right, I'm going to look for this flank play, and then the person on the flank play gets absolutely annihilated. Like, it happens once a game without fail for Weibo.
Yeah. I'm glad they go for the flanks, but you'd hope that after a while they'd learn which ones are better and worse. Potential Bardol into mid lane, they'll go for him. He has flash, doesn't use it.
Will it burn into all that much? The seismic shove will force a flash there, and Xiaohu is indeed forced to lose that summoner.
So Sam, this is 14 minutes in.
It is,
Weibo are
Alex.
1,000 gold up.
So they are.
And they have 2 dragons up.
They are.
This is a really good early game.
I
for
agree.
Weibo. They should have been losing lane very heavily versus the Varus. Varus is 1.5k gold behind. They should have been losing lane versus the Auric, and indeed they are in that case, with the cannon being not in a happy spot. BLG now need to find themselves a plan B, which
Not
they
great at
haven't been as good at doing. Knight is heading on to Elk though.
This might work though, because what Elk doesn't really have is a way to survive that kind of play. Tries to dash out, but there is a flash after, and Shun secures the kill on their former AD carry. Hi Elk, did you miss me?
Wondering whether there's going to be a realm warp down there, actually. Weibo, I think they spotted the play coming a little bit, well, they reacted to it fairly quickly. They didn't spot it in advance, but they reacted to it quickly. Chance of them flying down there. And Knight and Shun, I think, I said this on Twitter the other day to Ten, who's like probably Shun's biggest supporter, I can think, out there. And I was saying to them, because obviously they've supported Shun through thick and thin, despite the dark days on JDG and what have you. I think that the combination between Shun and Knights has been the best part of BLG. When BLG have played through burst combos between Shun and Knight, that has been their very best aspect. Regardless of whatever else goes wrong, regardless of the macro, their team fighting flaws, Shun coming back to BLG and just being attached at the hip to Knight with something like this Talia Vi has been very, very powerful for BLG. We do see that getting into a strong position for Weibo, and that gives me a hope that BLG have that one trigger to pull against them. That's a teleport, Sam.
It is. Bin is here. Does he really care? He gets Cataclysm, flashes the Solar Flare, or has to flash out as well. Bin with the last right healing. He's pretty damn scared. They're TPing in themselves. Zucker's going to Slicing Maelstrom, so it'll cost them an extra summoner or two, but they do all turn up here.
Yeah, I mean, it's still Bin teleporting in unbeknownst to 3 people. They bring in the 4th. The kill goes to the cannon as well, so Zucker, who is falling behind in the individual matchup, picks up something from that too. They also get to pick up some plates for the cannon as well. He has that gunblade completed, and with Cannon getting back into the game through that kill, Weibo, the bit which they were actually quite afraid of, which is, well, the cannon might be shut down, that's now even looking better for them now too.
I will say, however, the cross map was brutal. They lose the whole of mid lane tier 1, the whole of top lane tier 1, and they've still got a Herald.
So what Weibo make the choice to do is get the cannon more into the game, despite the overall loss of gold. We'll see whether that's valuable. He has flash, doesn't have ultimate for the dragon on, gets the dragon to go golden.
Ooh, in comes the Weaver's Wall, splitting this up. Shun's going to be here as well to make this a smite fight. It's a battle herald. Dragon was won, ironically, by the Nymaera. Elk gets that. Shun dies in the backline into the members of Weibo Gaming. Through the portal comes Jirjir. Well, I don't know whether we actually want to do. That has to flash out as the unraveled evidence. The arrow onto Zucker forces him to run away. They can keep running at this. The health bars from Weibo not looking fantastic. Xiaohu may be forced to team fight here in a way they're not necessarily hoping for. Weibo was supposed to be the better team fighters, not the laners. Ironically, the first team fight of the game goes BLG's way.
It does. It's still only a 1-for-1 though, and Weibo, Sam, they get the dragon. They're on 3 dragons now. That threat of that Chemtech Soul later on, and that's pretty big in this game, I think, particularly when you're dealing against a lot of poke. There are definitely some fights where you'll be fighting below half HP. You can get that value of the extra damage and the extra damage resist. It's not a bad ult from On. It opens up the chance to try and steal the dragon, and we appreciate that sub there, Hot Wheels, as well. Yeah, and dragon goes down. It is a pretty close run thing on the actual smite of it. It goes the way of Weibo though, and Weibo are now in a very big strategic lead, as in the picture-in-picture, Bin has died in a side lane in the 1v2. The Yorick is not achieving what it wanted to. Sam has died under turret. It got given a lot of gold early. But Bin this year compared, well, and 2025, compared to his 23, his 24, where he was vying for best top laner in the world, he's not been delivering on laning promises, and he's certainly, when he's had a lead, not been able to transfer it as well into game wins.
Not as yet. Again, he's still 1,000 gold up. He's still going to be a problem on the side lane. The turrets have taken a big beating from Weibo Gaming, and they've gotten Soul Point, and that's great and all. Thank you again for the resubs. Thank you all for the follows.
What do you mean, 3 months off of a signed photo? Is that a 10-month subscription thing now? Is that the deal? Are we signing up for that?
Signing photos. Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
So we're talking about the vision control a lot during this game. Weibo have it on bot side. They don't have it on top side, so BLG are looking for a red buff steal. Airhead does have ult, and he's going in, but that's quite deep.
I'm not sure he wanted to be there. That side of the play could have been a mistake, especially with the Tempered Fate locking down too. Xiaohu fails the flash! Oh dear. Well, he's dead as well. And now through the magical journey goes on. The Weaver's Wall is there as well, but it leaves Knight a little bit alone versus Elk, who's still got a lot of gold, remember. The Fiend Hunter Bolt to chunk out multiple members, but Xiaohu and her are down. I think BLG might turn for Baron here.
Yeah, I wonder whether they were waiting for a cannon flank. Erher in isolation, that just looks like a very bad play. I don't know what the communication was in its entirety, though. They're going to try and Mega Cone. They're going to try and kill Bin again on the side lane. He doesn't have a flash. He will be dying here. Oh my god, the double Mega Cone!
Well, there's nowhere for Bin to go. He was expecting more people to go towards the other side of the map. It is not. It gets cross map, and that will be a kill back. I lied about the Baron because it's only 18 minutes
yes.
in, and therefore
so there is
that was
no
not a possibility.
Yeah.
However, Viper does get that tier 2 mid. So again, lots of members sent towards Bin, and Viper goes, cool, I'll take the turret for it.
Yeah. Knight blocked off BLG from following up there too. I actually didn't recognize
Yeah, he did.
That.
Yeah, ended up in a 1v2 as a result.
I will say, Knight has still been very, very powerful, though. 800 gold ahead, 303. Knight is having a very good game on the Talia. We might be heading into another scenario, Sam, where it is just kind of Shun and Knight versus the world with a burst combo, because Weibo are at a strategic advantage with the Dragon coming up in a minute and a half. They have Elk in the lead with a 2-item Nymaera who is very, very scary, and the cannon is actually in the game now, which is terrifying for BLG. They tried to shut him down. BLG, I think this draft was very risky with the Yorick. I would have preferred to see them play a tank in the top side and just play for trying to defend the flank against the cannon, particularly when you have this immobile backline of the Talia and the Varus already. It shows that Yorick's not paying off, Sam.
No, not yet. It's got the Trinity Force, looks like it's building towards what I suspect will be the Shojin second. And it's not like Shun is, or rather Bin is without damage per se. The Cull's cashed in, all that kind of thing, and they have had to send multiple members to deal with him. All this kind of caveat work, but the Tempered Fate is going to come out from on. Is that going to lead to anything? No. Opportunistic at the least. 40 seconds until Dragon, though, means that's a fairly big pick tool down.
Yeah, and just steps forward. He isn't caught in the Bard ultimate, and it means that Weibo have someone that's going to block the kind of landing point for Xiaohu as he comes out of that golden stasis. Zuka's going to get some extra time on this top lane turret. Knight does have 9 Dark Seal stacks. He does have 2 items. He's a pretty happy Talia as far as things go. I don't know if Talia is the person that can, especially with this kind of build as well, with the Realized second, I suppose. What else do you build, really? I suppose there is the Blackfire Torch that APA has been toying around with. But how do you carry this game alone as a Talia? The answer is you can't, really. It's very hard to. Dragon up now. BLG must try and prevent the Soul.
Look at Shun on a potential angle here as well. Weibo trying to force in through this bot side of the map. Dragon alive. BLG in waiting. Dragon started there by the flag drop, just trying to spot out what's happening. JJ, Elk, going to be dealing with the poke now from this Varus that is beginning to sting just a little bit.
Weaver's Wall. Flash, has ult.
Oh!
Hang on a second.
Just about get through there with split off by his own. Weaver's Wall is won by Vi. That's the Dragon over to BLG, and they blow up GAG, who goes for the flip, does not win it. The Prince of Thieves, unfortunately for him, will not be the heir to the throne this time around.
I'm so disappointed in Zuka there, Sam. He had flash, he had ultimate as the cannon, and it still left a JJ to try and smite and dive in alone. And now the jungler's dead. That could be Baron. BLG get themselves a huge play here, Sam. This is so huge for breaking the pressure on this game. Kennen still has flash and ult, but he should have used that at the Dragon. He could still go into the pit. He might be forced to, Sam.
Down to 5,000 HP. We'll look for that massive rocket belt flash slicing Maelstrom angle. Here it goes into the back end. Viper cleanses out. Baron taken by BLG. Xiaohu, Zuka trying to run away. Has to get cleansed on the slicing Maelstrom. It's not really a storm. It's a minor squall. On kills him with the empowered Meep auto. And then blast codes away from Elk, who was trying to get some auto stars. He's no longer fiend hunting. He's being hunted. Shun looking to get in with the Vault Breaker. On gets another. Vengeance with a laning phase. Another blast code away. On is a team fight. God on the Bard. He's gone from 1 and 3 to 4 and 3.
Sam, Bard is the carry now. Bard is the carry. Knight goes back and buys a Magi Su. I think he's deserved it for his early game play. He finally has a sigh of relief as Knight kept BLG in this game long enough for them to clutch out in a team fight. Sam, the gold lead just exploded to 4.5 thousand, despite the fact that Weibo should really strategically have been winning this game. The Dragon fight before this was really, really where things started to fall apart, of course. Stun onto Xiaohu from On, who gets the first stun of the fight. They even McKailsons himself on the way out. Gets almost near stun onto Elk there, does miss that one. He's just so disruptive on the side. You know, Weibo trying to take down as many Baron Busts as possible.
Oh my god, dude, it's so wild. Oh, he gets to go back in after this as well. There is something there is this, oh my god, Evacus is so, what? Oh. There is something just so uniquely smug about the way that Bard players team fight. Like, what do you mean he can blast code out of that to safety? That's not normal, On. That's not normal. Oh, hey, Vicaria, you've come in at a great time.
You've just missed perhaps the greatest Bard team fight of all time, in which On gets a double kill and gets like 2 blast cones away from killing autos. Just scroll back in the VOD, just like half a minute. The words don't do it justice.
Legitimately, he starts a fight by stunning Xiaohu onto the Scuttle Crab, then Tempered Fate's Elk as he's trying to kill him. Mikhail's jumped through the portal so he doesn't die, and then gets a double kill? Are you actually serious, On?
Guys, this is a game which BLG realistically should have lost. They threw their lead with the Yorick, they were behind 3 dragons to none, and Weibo had a flanking flash-up cannon ready to pull the trigger onto BLG, and they didn't find the engage. I think it was on Zerka really to find himself into that team fight. Weibo couldn't make that low blow land, and I think this game is now going with it.
Tempered Fate only catches 1, flag and drag back. On, remember, doesn't have the summoners anymore. He might now be in a bit of danger, but they just blown up Elk. Finally, the Slicey Maelstrom comes on through, and that is good damage back. 2 down, but now Weibo going very bloody deep. The arrow lands. Viper is jumped on, though, as Xiaohu falls ends, actualizing him. He takes a hell of a lot of damage. Jie looking to get some honey fruit, and that's good shielding, actually. Out comes the Vault Breaker, though. Flag, drag back. Bin looking for a flash last right, and will look to get it. Xiaohu in danger. Has burned all of his summoner spells. That means the shovel can keep coming on down, and Bin will waive the funeral costs.
This has been such a fun game in terms of support gameplay. We've had the carry Bard, Erher trying to bail his team out of the abyss. Weibo do get themselves a bunch of kills. They get the Magi stacks away from Knight. It saves the game, and maybe Weibo now can survive through to a last gasp attempt at the Dragon. Monty, hey, how's it going as well? Thanks for the raid over there. By the way, folks, later on today, after LPL ends, I'm going to be starting my playthrough of Resident Evil Requiem, so stick around after the show for that one. And yeah, get yourself some variety in your life. You know, man cannot be sated on bread, or in this case, League of Legends alone. Yeah. You must have the word of our God gamers as well. It's not a bad play from Weibo. They get themselves took it into the backline. Finally, the cannon hasn't really delivered on the promise. I mean, I think both top laners have had not the best game. I think that Bin was meant to get a lane lead. He struggled with that and was shut down his side lanes. Zerka was meant to get that team fight flank, and it's only now where he gets that. I'm just left kind of wondering what the game could have looked like if Zerka had gotten those flanks earlier into the game when it felt like it mattered more.
Now Bin's got a Sterex on top of everything else. Thank you very much for the sub there as well, 1998 TG.
Is that like a model of car, Sam? Like your
I
Porsche
don't. Why are you asking me?
I thought you'd be able to riff off on it, Sam. Not going to lie.
Well, it's almost
like yeah,
it's an off-brand version. It's not a GT.
Oh, it's like aftermarket parts.
Yeah, it's aftermarket.
I swear I saw this one in Need for Speed Carbon. I'm kind of sad that I didn't get a Need for Speed game until Carbon was a great game, but I didn't play Underground 2.
No.
Or Most Wanted. Those were the 2 which I think a lot of people remember very fondly.
Speaking of non-League of Legends games, I am increasingly excited for the pod racing game, guys.
Oh, Galactic Racer?
Yes,
yeah.
Because the devs are the Need for Speed and Burnout devs.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Which is like the 2 best
No, your name did not get flamed on the broadcast. It got used to be a bit. You've been used for our own
congratulations, you've been allowed and enabled our comedy.
Mate, someone came in with a name like Malkavian the other day, and we went like a 10-minute bit on Vampire the Masquerade, funny enough, because I played that one on stream not too long ago. So, folks, we're getting around to a point now where Weibo gave up that last dragon. Weibo, they didn't have an option for that one. Credit to BLG. Typically when games get to this weird late game state, they've not been great at figuring it out. Typically the teams which punish them in that area of the game have been Anyone's Legend and JDG, though, have been stronger in the 5v5s than most of our other LPL teams. And I'd like to use this moment actually to revisit a point which is quite important for BLG across this whole tournament, is I think BLG are not the best team fighting team in the LPL anymore. They need to ramp up in that skill set or find a way to win games without them being primarily about team fights, which is very hard in the current meta, for me to be confident in them walking away LPL champions. They're a team which, at the start of the year, people thought could be international contenders, with Shun joining back in for the chemistry, Viper replacing Elk as the best AD carry in the world from 2025 across the average. Elk was good, but Viper was better. That was the feeling. Then we come across the rest of this split, and BLG, they're not firing on all cylinders, even with the coaching changes. Of course, Daney was brought in to replace the outgoing big way as well. There were some coaching concerns for BLG. BLG have not hit their stride yet, Sam. Particularly in the team fights, we need to see this team level up to kind of finally make their way to that promised land that this roster looked to be.
A question in then from Assassin, who's the best team fighting team if it's not BLG?
Well, on the whole, I would say it's anyone's legend, but I don't think they're the best drafting team, which means that their team fighting skills are often blunted, so it's between them and JDG. I think JDG draft the best for team fights, BLG draft the best, making picks on side lanes like this.
Force the flash, teleport as well. So they'll earn a TP from Zucker alongside the flash from Shahu, just for the low price of a Weaver's Wall, and I think that will be something that BLG are more than happy with. Baron is up and available. Ward control right now very much in BLG's favor.
Yeah, BLG love to play our side lanes. What BLG are is the best side laning team in the LPL. We've seen them do very well with Knight on globals. Shun and Knight are very good at burst combos, and that's how they survived in this game. In fact, if they do win this game, it is through Shun and Knight. These two kept them in the game long enough to clutch out late game after that point. But the best team fighting teams in the LPL are either JDG or AL. We saw them both play yesterday, and there were some incredible team fights between the two of them. Watch back on our VODs from yesterday for that one. Baron started. Weibo have realized, look, we can't realistically look for big fights now. 2 minutes until the next dragon. They gave up the last one. This one will be going over for free, this Baron at least, and Weibo will have to wait for their opportunity.
Temper Fate drops onto one, it denies a lot of things with JJ. It's completely stunned up, he can't do anything. On flashes, Magical Journey's away, and he's done his job. Keeps the Jarvan well away from the pit and any attempt at a steal.
Yeah, so it's a bit of summoner economy for Weibo, trying to get some flashes, but not fully commit to a fight. Mid lane tower, I don't think they can fully take this. I think BLG can look for an engage.
Yeah, Shahu's over on a potential angle there on the flank. We've got a minute and a half until Dragon would again be sold, assuming BLG allow them to get it, and I don't think they will with the way the game has been going.
Pacifist Cannon. Cannon is in fact 3.5 thousand gold behind. Here comes the ult from Knights.
Weaver's Wall down again. They are trapped on the wrong side of that wall, but this time there's a flag and Dragonair just out of range for potential engagement. They don't want to flash to secure that.
Yeah, Knight been conservative with the angle there. Couldn't quite find a way to lock off the walls completely. BLG looking to break the inhibitors. Weibo looking to survive a minute and look to fight for the soul.
Finn will bonk this turret real hard. He's got 3 grubs, so this turret does in fact just disappear.
There's good damage there from Viper. Weibo.
No, Maiden!
No!
Maidenless!
So maidenless, Sam.
Can't become the Elden Lord now.
I wish I knew more about the lore of that thing, Sam. All I know is that they got like rotting dragons and stuff.
They
And we've
do.
got a golden Nymaera.
Well, in goes Zucker trying to find that angle. Maybe he can be an Elden Ring boss at the back end of this fight. That's not bad. It's a 2 for 2. And Talia has indeed died. Shun now down at the GA. And actually, you know what? Finally, it's not a pacifist again, and he was the final boss.
This is a huge fight for Weibo. They're going to get 3 off of this for the death of just their cannon using the Realm Warp, but Bin is alive.
Hang on, that's really deep into the face of a Yorick. Golden goes Xiaohu. The ghouls are around, and the last right come flying on through Jirshe into the pit of the blue buff. Just about avoids the arrow there, so they end up losing an extra member, trying to push for more.
Oh my gosh, Weibo get themselves a huge play, Sam. The smite's down. They can get themselves the Chemtech Soul. BLG try to find a combo. Knight doesn't get the knockback onto the AD carry, and Weibo end up turning onto the Talia. They're going towards the base, though. They're teleporting right.
Oh no!
It's gonna back down!
No, not Dragon for base! They had the TPs! And they've got the grubs and a Yorick, and unfortunately, Bin says, well, I guess I'll do it myself.
Weibo! They did all the hard work! Sam, they did all the hard work! They just won the team fight and they don't remember to protect their base! The minions were marching on the Nexus, and the Yorick is very good at specific things, Sam, primarily amongst them, killing towers. Weibo are such an interesting team, and such a tragic one at the same time, Sam. Weibo lose game 1 after I thought they just clutched it out. I thought they clutched it out to get a soul. hanging for another fight. That
It's such a Weibo way to lose the game.
Bin says no. I cannot believe that they took the dragon for Sam. I'm not even sure they even got the dragon by the end of it, Sam.
No.
They just locked it. They didn't even get a dragon for Nexus trade because they didn't get the dragon.
They got an IOU on a dragon for Nexus trade. Like there is a worse deal in League of Legends history, and it's probably this.
Now, yesterday, folks, I think we saw our two best team fighting teams. They're quite cerebral teams. They're macro teams in some ways. Folks, these two teams are just utter chaos at points. Weibo, I love this team in terms of the entertainment they bring, but they don't half give me an aneurysm every time I watch them play. I thought that Weibo had two opportunities in this game to make a really big difference in the way that things were going. The first was around that 4th dragon, where I think that they had the flanking cannon in a position to make a difference. He didn't teleport early enough. He didn't find the angle. BLG managed to escape with the dragon, went into the Baron, and things went wrong from there. The second one was after that Nexus defense, where they managed to take that team fight, and of course, things went poorly after that. Folks, if you are enjoying what you're seeing here, thank you so much for the sub, Kirby. I will read out that whole message later. It's a tradition of ours from Kirby in this channel. My name is Alex. This is Sam. We're brothers. My name is Nymaera. This is Initialise, and we cast LPL for you because there is no official LPL broadcast anymore, and we love to cast LPL. If you find this entertaining, if you find this valuable, if you're enjoying your time here, please think about dropping a like, a follow, a subscribe. This is our job. This is what we use to pay our rent, folks. And if you are just watching, it does make a difference if you drop a like, a follow, a subscribe. And also another thing you can do as well is try out for free and support us for free Opera GX. In fact, we get double value off of signups for this weekend, which is pretty cool as well. So if you use the download link, which we're going to be posting in chat, we get a little bit back from that too.
Now is the weekend, guys.
It's a Chromium-based browser with a lot of functionality. You can make it look however you want to. You can force dark mode on tabs, which wouldn't normally have them. You can have
split screen tabs.
Split screen tabs. There's some really fun functionality. Even if you're someone that's very happy with your browser right now, think about trying it out. You don't know what you'll discover, and you'll give us a little bit along the way as well. And if you do have a little bit of money to spend on your favorite content creators as well, which we might be, it could be us. Think about dropping something through into our Ko-fi link as well. Either Twitch Primes and Twitch subscriptions or Ko-fi are the best way to support us monetarily. Makes a big difference to us as we see the post-game stats. So.
Look, I see you raiders from Monty. I see you raiders from Macari, and now is the time to join another community as well. You could be a multi-community member, guys. Isn't that exciting? For the low price of 1 Prime subscription. That will be the way. That will be the way. And again, Weibo, going to be a little annoyed by the end result there, but again, honestly, the fact that they lost a lot of those team fighters by having the comp for it is a little bit alarming. I think part of it as well is I don't think they were quite ready for A, the time to collapse from BLG, and B, the range advantage that BLG were playing with. The fact that they had got that Talir and Varus just continually making their jobs of getting into range really, really difficult. Weaver's Walls and Unraveled Earths and Bard's whole kit was proving very challenging for them.
Did I mute the thing? I did. So we've just had no music on for a while. That's fine. It's all good. Oh, this is what happened earlier. It wasn't actually the clean feed. It was the OBS getting a little bit frozen at the start of the game. All good. It didn't crash the stream like it does sometimes. Whatever. All good. Well, thank you everyone for coming in. We're going to be chilling out. I'm actually going to start setting up my PlayStation, well, Sam's PlayStation, so I can actually get ready for Resi later, which I'm really looking forward to. I mean, Resi's one of those great series. For those of you who are watching, hey, thank you, Full Life. Appreciate you so much. And Angie has a 220 stream streak. That's legitimately almost a year. What the hell? God, that's a lot of streams. 220. Yeah, I mean, I know some other people have like randomly lost stream streaks because I've streamed variety and not like updated. Oops, my bad. But like, that's gonna 100 gift subs from Mecca. Holy crap,
Mecca.
The Oiler has arrived. This is the LPL stream funded by Mecha Fanboy. I am gonna go set up that PlayStation, so I'm gonna leave you with the stream if that's okay. Thank you all very much for the support. Woo! Thank you. Turn the camera on for that reason. There we go. I can wave around. Someone can gift that. That'll be waving inflatable tube man. Woo! Here you go, inflatable tube man. Thank you.
LPL teams are literally insane. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I'm not even going to mute this. You guys are going to have to deal with the pings. Shao, who realm warped in here and really regretted it, immediately got blasted, been flashing out, then just gets a TP into the top side because actually he doesn't even have to hit the turrets because the minions have done it for him. When the next Yorick is picked and I'm in chat, please yell, "What the fuck, two maidens?" If I remember, sure. Scubs, what are you typing? That's actually rather sweet. Hey, welcome on in. Raiden on in. A little bit of love for AL. Woo! The context was killed by Mecha Sub Bomb. That does make sense. There we go. Context was never an option. It is what it is. Bin's gonna get player of the game. Fantastic. To be fair, was on mission the entire game. Was it done perfectly? Absolutely not. But his job was, I'm going to continue to keep Zucker under his tower and I'm going to attack every turret I see, whatever the cost. And they sent multiple members to deal with him, but it did take multiple members. And then he just teleports in to end the game. And eventually the Yorick split push win condition, that just lane shove win condition, became too much to manage. Couple votes for on the Bard. The refs voted top. The team voted for top, interestingly, as well. And I think considering he was the one who teleported in to end the game and found some very good late game plays, I can see why that decision was made. I'm not sure I would have voted for him. I might have gone someone like Shun or Knight, who I think made some more of those side lane plays, but there you go. Hello, Harold. Team voted Viper bot. Ah, okay. Sorry, I misread that one. I thought it was top they voted for. Because well, no, the summoners voted. Sorry. The players is what I meant. Voted for top. I realised I should have phrased that better because actually the team also gets a vote. So I think by which I think that's what I meant anyway. Have we run ads? No, we have not. I need to run some ads. If you don't want ads, subscribe. Ah, no, we've actually already run some ads. Okay. Oh, you're kidding me. That's really annoying. That's fine. Oh. Load of Lunar New Year content. Thank you again for all these subs. Largely through the power of Mecha Fanboy's insane gift sub. Chopping down trees, just another day in the office for Yorick. In fairness, I'm surprised he doesn't have a lumberjack skin. He'd have a great lumberjack skin. You can join Scion on the lumberjack department. Appreciate you, Mecha. Genuinely. Very, very much. It's helping us in a lot of ways. Well, congratulations on perhaps coming on Aunt Kiwi. I forgot how to pronounce English. Never mind you. A fun fact for Lana. I mean, a fun fact for Lana. Let me think. What do I have that's a fun fact? Trying to think, 'cause Alex is playing Resident Evil later, so I feel like I ought to have a Resident Evil fact. And a roast for Zeref and a compliment for Duo. I've got to come up with lots of things now. Oh, no. Hello. Do you have a fun Resident Evil fact? I need a fun fact. I'm trying to think of an RE fact. Okay, I've got a random one. Ashley from the Resident Evil 4 remake. They remodeled her by basically getting 2 real life models and doing one for the body and one for the face.
Oh really?
Yeah, they did.
Huh.
So it's a cosplayer who lives out in Japan who's from Ireland or whatever was the body, and they got someone else with an actor to be the face, which was quite cool. So Ashley is not just a random model; they actually literally did a kind of combo of 2 people, and then there was a whole content thing where the 2 people who modeled Ashley met each other. They said Ashley meeting Ashley, which is kind of a thing. So there you go. There's a fun fact. I've got to compliment Duo. Maiden, you are lovely. You are incredibly welcome here. Your activity in chat, the Discords, and hopping into VCs is always appreciated. It's always great to hear your voice. Thanks for being a great part of both myself and Alex's community. Much love. Roast Serif, absolute opposite of Duo. Why are you here? Why did I give you mod powers on my channel? I was clearly out of my mind and just wanted to enjoy suffering. You are unwelcome everywhere you go. How's that for a roast? There we go. Hydrated for the Soycrom. I actually should do that. I'm going to finish up this coffee, but I will go get another one shortly. And a posture check from Zeref, who, really I should have been giving that insult out while properly situated. What happened to Nymaera? He will be right back. Well, they will be right back. They're just helping set up a PlayStation. It is normally myself and Nymaera who do the commentating. I am Nymaera's older brother, Initialise. You may have seen myself and Alex do a fair amount of commentating together. So worry not. The both of us are here. So Alex is around. Worry not. But yes, I'm Sam. I'm Nymaera's older brother. We do the commentating thing together. In fact, if you do !Initialise in chat, you'll be able to find me. Initialise. There we go. Boom. Oh, done. Fabulous. Thank you, Corey. Is this Nymaera underscore? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Not anymore. That underscore is gone. That underscore is gone. It took you weeks to realize that Sam is Alex and Alex is Sam. Oh my days. There's Nymaera and Nymaera with the underscore. Older? I am the older brother, yeah, by about a year. And we have 14 months between us. We're very even in age. So I'm just about older. But I cultivate an aura of silliness, so I often appear to be younger. I thought you were younger. I get that a lot. Again, as I said, I cultivate an aura of silliness deliberately. Immaturity is to be cherished, folks. Sam is pretending to be young already. Pretending, Mecca. Careful now. Thank you for making the time to go by quick work. Of course, JC. Glad to have you in here. If League of Champions were tasked with taking the One Ring to Mordor, who carries the ring? Oh, that's a good conversation, JC. And they got members of the Office US. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go with the Lord of the Rings option. Because I think that's actually a really good one. Don't say Onivia, don't say Onivia, don't say Onivia. Okay, yeah. Look, why didn't they just fly on Onivia's back, guys? Come on. It'll have to be one of the orders. Poppy is the ring bearer. Poppy is the ring bearer. She's the hero. Or perhaps Poppy is Sam, and therefore Teemo has to be the ring bearer. Bro, I've got that Tom Bombadil issue. That Tom Bombadil attitude, absolutely. Ornn is like one of the dwarves who forges too greedily, too deep, finds a Volibear Balrog to deal with. Teemo is Sauron, that's true. Immaturity keeps the skin smooth, correct. Yumi's the ring! Yes, and it's secret! The devs fashioned another one bot laner to rule them all. Oh, fabulous. You must take the cat to Mordor and throw it in the fires. Who's the wizard? I suppose it has to be Rise, doesn't it? Bet you think that was very clever, don't you? We're about to get into draft, I think. So I will pop the headphones on. Oh, we don't have music. Whoops. There was no music. That's unfortunate. I will put this on instead then. Brand is Saruman. When did Saruman the Wise take leave of his senses? Gandalf the Wise. Gandalf the Fool. Why does this draft music go so hard? Very true. Malzahar is a ring raid for sure, absolutely. I think a lot of the Shadow Isles ones are. Commander Ledros. Ooh. Oh, yes, the Mass Effect draft music. Oh, I can get behind that. Right, I need to move some things around so we can see our prior... drafts. That's the one I was looking for. Took me a second to remember the name of the thing. Second game, Weibo still on red. Still, by the looks of it, with first pick. Poppy and Bessa Karma off the board. Oriana Rumble banned by BLG. Yunara's played, Varus played, so those are no longer needed for the bans. This music goes hard, what? I've been very distracted by this. Yes, just great music. Aurora is going to be the first pick option for Xiaohu.
Yeah, there's been a lot of first pick Aurora here in the LPL. This has really picked up across the first round of Personal. Thank you so much for the extra second. I really appreciate you as well. Yeah, sorry, I was sorting stuff in the background. Oh, hang on, is this just continuing? Is this just continuing from the from like the
yes.
Mecca? Okay, so it's just going to go up there for forever, right?
Yes.
That's just what happens.
We owe Corey and Harold a compliment and a roast later on.
We'll talk about the draft here first. Aurora, as we've been saying, has been cropping up as a first pick here within the LPL an awful lot over the first round. Xiaohu got a pentakill in round 1, which was really cool to see. It's only his third pentakill of his career, second one within the LPL. The other one was in Demacia Cup. BLG threatening the Ashe Seraphine here, which is a very, very strong bot lane with the Karma band as well. That's one of the most powerful other lanes that you could lock in. I think Weibo, you either look to kind of take a Constellation lane or you have to lock a Lulu lane. You have to lock in that.
It is Elk and it is Era. There is a Caitlyn Elise angle if they really want to fight fire with fire, but I don't know whether actually you beat the Ashe Seraphine with that. You'd have to land some very good CC chains, but then again, you're into a lane where the CC chain would lead to death more than it would into a lot of other ones, so if they want to take that risk, they could. Pantheon a consideration for JJ. Him and Shun probably are my two favourite Pantheon players in the LPL, not including Tarzan, actually, who's also excellent.
Yeah, either way, Pantheon is a very powerful champion within the scope of the LPL. All of our junglers play it very well. Shun, I think, might even be our best one of it, to be honest, but he's picked up the Xinjiao, which allows him to have a bit more frontline potential, with the ultimate being basically a stronger version of Pantheon E in a lot of ways. Of course, on a longer cooldown,
yeah.
but it's very, very powerful. Allows you to kind of... the good thing about the Ashe Xinjiao, we saw a bit of this in 2023 as well, a little bit, particularly with Ashe support coming through at points in that split, is that the Xinjiao can then combo onto the Ashe arrow target very well, because they're stunned long enough for him to get a full channel of that W onto the target and just start ripping through your damage. Renekton's come through, which means that the Aurora will be going mid lane. No shenanigans with the Aurora going top lane. It means that Bin and Knight know their matchups.
They do. Nah. Potential blind... No, not blind picks. pick up for Bin, who's had some great Gnar games, actually. I think he's been one of our very best at that. Him and 369 probably, though again, 369 had that slightly dodgy game on it recently.
Well, so funnily enough, 369 sent Bin 5,000 gold down in the matchup they had in regular season in the second round robin, where BLG unexpectedly lost to Top Esports in the second round robin. Now, this is one of the worries about not using the Aurora flags. Aurora can be played into Gnar, it can also be played into Renekton and Cassante, champions like that. I trust in Knight's champion pool to have a million things to dominate lane in here. He could go towards Akali if he wants to play less for lane, but he could go towards the LeBlanc that we saw in round 1. If he wants to really dominate lane, he can always go for an Ahri into this matchup too. So Weibo have about 3 or 4 champions they'd want to ban away from Knight. They won't be able to do that all within the second round ban phase.
I wouldn't even hate the Syndra when you've got the Ashe as well. Your pick burst is very strong then. You might be a bit more vulnerable to the Pantheon then, but I could sort of see that being a Knight option nonetheless.
The fact that we can mention so many champions like this means that Knight will be able to choose whatever the hell he wants. That's the reality of it. Knight can do whatever he wants in that mid lane matchup. Seraphine is banned away from the Ashe, so it means that the Ashe will have to go, like, Ashe Warm is a powerful duo, but then actually not playing through hyper lane domination. This is the cost of locking in the Gnar to secure that top lane matchup, which Bin really wants to have lane pressure in all given scenarios. He is such a laning focused player. You have given up Viper and On's prime duo of that Ashe Seraphine. If you're locking in the Ashe, the best support, bar none for her, is the Seraphine.
By far. By far. Braum is good. Do we just roll back the years and do something really wild like a Zyra?
You know what? I think Zyra's actually pretty good right now, but only in jungle, right?
Yeah.
She's had so many base damages removed from her over time because her jungle benefited from it so much. She's actually so much worse as a support now, which is really sad. No, way back in the day of, 2013, a while ago, I did watch through all the Faker's One Worlds runs, and watching back 2013 to see kind of the evolution of like the Corki Ezreal Zyra with to kind of invent the poke lane was so huge. One of those champions we mentioned earlier for Knights was that LeBlanc. It was. This is less of a poke lane, although it definitely is that too. This is very much a kill threat lane. Aurora hates the LeBlanc matchup. LeBlanc so often pro play pulls ahead of this matchup and shuts down the Aurora.
She does. The Aurora, great if she can get a full combo, but does it do so from quite short range, could be quite scary. But there's that Caitlyn I wondered about, and there's the Elise I wondered.
Okay, I think with the Seraphine out, you can do it. I don't think you can do this into Ashe Seraphine. I think that actually gets you killed, but I think into the Ashe plus melee support, I think you can. On does love a Shen support.
He does.
I don't think it's very good into Elise, but he does love the Shen support. You need a big engaged champion here, I think. I think if you don't lock in that, BLG is really relying on chains and arrows, which is quite risky. BLG might just say, though, no, we trust in comfort, we trust in laning phase. On is the only Shen support player in the LPL right now. Very few people pull this out. Occasionally you'll see it elsewhere, but On is the only person who's played this in any significant amount. I think it's a losing lane versus the Caitlyn Elise. They have too much ability damage for the Spirit's Refuge to block out. Weibo come away with pretty okay lanes with that bot lane. I am quite worried though that LeBlanc and Gnar can explode laning phases with singular mistakes from the other side.
Yeah.
I think that on the whole BLG walk away with, once again, slightly less coherent team in terms of their team fights. However, BLG are trying to master a style once again that doesn't really rely on team fighting. It is about brute force, laning power, skirmishes out the wazoo. Weibo fell to that already in game 1.
And God forbid the Xin Zhao and LeBlanc get ahead in this game with the Shen on top of them, with the Ashe arrow flying on top of them. You will be able to send it so damn hard. Very, very tricky. And again, if Caitlyn and Elise are going for full burst combos and suddenly the Spirit's Refuge denies a headshot or two, or you try and kill someone and suddenly the Shen ult, get quite interesting. If it does count for those team fights, or the Shen just loses lane really horribly to one of Elk's absolutely beloved lanes of the Caitlyn Elise, doesn't matter what support he's with, you will force his support to play Elise with him.
Oh god, that's the Elk effect, the Elk impact, like a
Genshin.
No, it's like the Elk impact, like it is on your windshield.
I nearly snorted coffee everywhere. Please don't do that.
Damn, that's really quite visceral, actually. BLG loading into game number 2. Won that game 1 by hook or by crook, and onto the riff we go.
Alex, do you mind just double checking the volume? Because I didn't do that and I'm panicking I didn't get it to the right volume.
Good.
Cool. Phew.
I like that one comment in chat. Elk is playing the patented Caitlyn Elise versus his ex versus On. You would do that to him?
Yeah.
You would do that to him right there. Gets the taunt level 1 too. Not bad. Gets good damage onto air hit. Does start with that cocoon, but you can see that the damage is kind of already done a little bit here. It's worth noting, really, that typically damage onto the AD carry is valued more, but when you're in such a squishy lane with high burst on both sides, damage anywhere, you'll take it, really.
Statistical analysis there is very unusual to see it swing that far one way. It's only 1% or the other. To have BLG favor that heavily in the early to mid stage makes a lot of sense considering what this comp is supposed to do.
I mean, you have Gnar versus Renekton, you have LeBlanc versus the Aurora. Particularly your solo lanes are in a very good spot. Watch out for those numbers. You'll see that the Aurora gets the early shove. It's a level 1. But hang on, there's a heal used to get the extra auto attack on target. Elk doesn't get the trap onto On.
Does not quite get it. Shun is here though, has not done a full clear. He's looking to buy some time. He's going to get behind the play.
Elk doesn't have flash. On just blew that flash. If Elk gets flashed onto here, it could be disaster. On might die for some engage. Cat tags onto Elk.
That's a lot of damage. The cocoon's not bad, but that's a lot of damage back onto the Elise. Is going to go up and have nowhere down to go. Flash forward, gets first blood. Elk left at a 1v2, but now JJ is here. This might turn things around.
On doesn't have the level 3. That could be a problem. Cleanse flash from Viper.
Gonna try and dash forward the audacious charge there. The Peacemaker comes on through. There's the 2 talents right.
Oh my god!
JJ goes down, and now Elk's JJ has to cleanse the slows. Flash forward. Elk's not got an ability to jump away. He goes down as well. It's 3-1 to BLG. The Caitlyn Elise hits a can of Raid.
Elk gets 1 kill, but that's the best that Weibo get. A 3-for-1 in the 3v3 bot side. When BLG were at their best, perhaps even the best team in the world for a brief moment in time in 2024. It was with Shun, On, and at that time, Elk playing around 3v3 bot lane sometime in that 2024 spring split. They're doing it with Viper now, Sam, and they're doing it against Elk. There is something so sacrilegious about doing it versus that player who was the person who helped pioneer that style. Erha goes up into the repel. The big difference, though, is that Elk had been demolished by On earlier, and JJ's a little later to the play because JJ started topside, had to path down bot side a little later, whereas Shun had started bot side and stuck around. Once again, Shun being a huge instigator, but it's On, the real hero of that play. Blowing the flash first, getting some crucial taunts. Shen's support is only played by On almost across the world right now, but he makes it look OP.
And Finn has got Zucker down to next to no HP, and this is before any teleports come on through. Zucker's going to have to try and sit around for this cannon. He's got at least a little bit of healing, but a halfway from Bin denies too much. Set the Spirit's Refuge, blocking some of those autos, and at least Elk and are able to get some shove, but JJ's down. He needs to undo this damage. There is no flash on the bot lane. There's only Viper with a cleanse.
Shun's down here too, though. So
they
both
know.
junglers going to be around. Do they spot each other? JJ doesn't know Shun's here.
Oh, JJ's in so much danger. Flashes awfully. Cleanse away from Viper means that the CC from the shield vault means nothing. Kill donated to the Ashe.
It's a panic flash from JJ, who is read like a book by Shun. Shun has been so important to BLG in this split. Like we were saying, it really has been Shun and Knight, the 2 hero players for BLG across the average of it. On, of course, in the equation too. The core of that jungle mid and that support have been so important. Of course, Knight not really doing much in this early game. He'll come into that later. Weibo have been broken over the knee of BLG in the 3v3.
He's back. He's back, and they've not got the wave shoved in properly. Elk is in so much danger. Lands a 90 caliber net, but that means On just gets the shadow dash for free, and Elk dies again.
Elk goes down once again. It's a second death for him. Every death that happens by Caitlyn in the early game, hang on level 6 from Xiaohu. Knight lands the chain, though, and he's got level 6 now, too. He actually has kill threat here.
Had to flash.
He had to flash, though, defensively. Xiaohu has to back off, though, regen that HP. There was the chance that LeBlanc could turn that around. Not a bad laning phase from Xiaohu. We were saying that LeBlanc tends to get the better of the Aurora early on. Hasn't really been the case here. It's a slight CS lead, but that's it. Well played by Xiaohu. Problem is, he presses tab, looks at the bot lane and goes, what the shit? My Caitlyn's gone 1 and 2. The Caitlyn Elise is losing lane. What the heck?
And in fairness, this is a concerted effort from BLG to ruin the first 3 levels of the game for the Caitlyn. And you can do this, but this is what it took. Shun has red buff on bot side. He is our blue side gamer this game, and that allows him to start red buff and be there early. And you want that slow into this matchup. Gets it, values it. GG is there not in time. They try to rescue it, because of course Weibo do, and the rescue plan goes wrong as well. Like, it just could not have gone worse. And a lot of this is concerted effort from BLG, not necessarily poor play individually from Weibo Gaming. It's a more macro-oriented issue.
So Weibo will now have to pray that they can get a good first Pantheon ult of the game. They must find a way to break the pressure which BLG has built up onto them now, and it will typically be through that global catching someone out. Maybe you can go on to Bin, who's in Mini-Gnar at some point. Perhaps you can catch out someone with the Elise as well, Pantheon ult on top of them, but it's a hard ask for Weibo now.
The other thing is, of course, On's about to hit level 6 himself, so wherever the Pantheon ults, theoretically, the Shen could go, no, you don't.
That's true. That is true. Global versus global. Xiao chained down.
Oh, this could really start pressing guard for the extra damage. And Xiaohu is dead. Shun again gets involved. He's having a monster early game.
What a wonderful game from Shun. This is why we wanted to see Shun back with BLG. I actually think that Shadow and Beichuan both had their okay moments. Wei, of course, carried BLG or fixed BLG to the point where they could make it to the 2024 World Championship. They wouldn't have made it there without him. I think that the conversation about BLG junglers has lost some nuance over time because of the memes around it. The trade here on the bot side, I hope we'll make it out to safety though. But back to that jungle conversation. Now BLG bringing back Shun, the thing which it does is brings back the chemistry, and you can just tell that the team believes in the plays that they are going to make. They are more decisive. And that was the big thing about BLG in 2023 and 2024. They were decisive, if nothing else. Arrow onto the spider.
Oh, Flash just about get on out to safety. Here comes that Grand Starfall. They blow up Elk anyway. Viper trying to survive. The repel up should allow Arrow to get that kill, but no, a flash away from Viper is well timed. Zhejiang will likely fall. Xiaohu is here, but Knight is blocking. Will not be allowed to jump forwards for free. The ethereal chains land. The Sigil of Malice procced angrily as Shun, with that 3 talent strike just timing out, has to just about go between worlds. That wind becomes lightning, was actually on target, but will not land because Xiao just about gets into the wall.
A ridiculous game from BLG in the bot side 3v3. On blowing that summoner early from Elk was the first domino. Shun managing to read Jie twice over, first by Bath going for the 3 camp into bot lane gank, and then of course reading his return back to that lane from that second play which came through. It has just completely snowballed this game out of control. Zika's behind in the Renekton versus Gnar matchup. He's not exactly going to be the win condition here either. Weibo, they've not been strong enough in lane in this early game to make a difference versus BLG.
Don't think so. On's about to find Era. Slides through him with the Shadow Dash. Forced to repel. Jumps away, but that means now Elk is in a 1v2. Does land the 90 caliber net. Can't find the Peacemaker, and Viper just steps forward with the approach velocity. Chunks Elk out a little bit further. The ace in the hole will at least chunk Viper back slightly. But again, Viper's gone steel caps this game. And in fairness, I can see it. You're into the Caitlyn, the Pantheon, the Renekton. Who's threatening you this game?
It's a good question, Sam. It's a good question. At the end of the day, if Viper stays alive, Weibo are going to be really, really slowed down in these team fights. He doesn't actually have to be crazy high damage. It's not like there's a lot of tank on the side of Weibo. Ult coming through.
Oh no, it's so good. It forces Zhejiang to flash. Backsteps the wind, becomes lightning at least, but he's out of the jungle again. And look, BLG drafted for early prio, early skirmishing, and that's what they've done. Will not steal the blue buff with the Comet Spear.
Shen's quite deep in the enemy jungle now, but reminder, there is that Shen ultimate if things get really dicey. Might Hex Splash over the wall, chooses not to. Gromp, I think that might be a steal too far. Jeja early smites!
Oh, just about resets. Tries to time it with a potential burst from Shun. Won't get it now without the smite. This Gromp is gone as well.
Has been caught out here too. Goes up into the
talent
repel.
Strike. That will be JJ knocked up. The Crescent Guard after denies Elk any semblance of ability to jump onto Shun. Viper gets another. BLG masterclass of early game bot lane brawling. We will get involved early. We will stay involved. And what the hell do Weibo Gaming do? It's 10-1.
It's 10-1, and it feels so bad for Erha particularly because this, the Elise when you fall behind the game has basically no play pattern. Same with the Caitlyn. This bot lane just does not function from this far behind the game. I think Erha, he's been very good across this split. I think realistically this lane fell apart when Elk was caught out by on that Shen. That's, I think, a good play by On, but Elk losing that summoner so early, causing a lot of issues, and now both bot laners have an almost impossible scenario to play around.
Bin will hop away the Grand Starfall, but there's a Shen ultimate. This might not be as simple as I think they were hoping for. On now here, will get jumped on briefly, but Bin not going to die. Ura's turned up. That could make this a little bit more concerning.
He's got the Spirit's Refuge here.
There comes the Spirit's Refuge. We'll need it on, taunts through. Does get some damage back onto Ura, who does have the repel. They'll get that kill. Bin trying to dance around, and Weibo Gaming, I think, get 2.
It's a good roam. Good use of the global, and Erher comes up in time. Weibo, credit to them for finding something on the map. That looked impossible for them. As we were saying, 2 kills. Who do the kills go to? Do they both go to JJ? Yeah, they both go to JJ, who's now 2 and 4. He's still behind a hilarious amount of gold. But Weibo, credit to them, they are one of our better teams at kind of when the script is ripped up, finding something amongst the torn up papers. We do end up getting something from that. It's a drip in the bucket, though, is the problem now. Drip in the ocean, rather. 3,000 gold behind, just going past 11 minutes.
Yeah, it is. At least it gets Zucker back into the game. He was losing a lot of CS down towards... Oh, he got interrupted. Oh, Zucker, no.
Has no flash. His slice will take him over the wall. Will he be safe from that even then? Shun not going to follow further. Will just be a recall stop. Nothing more onto the Renekton. And BLG continuing to really threaten Weibo everywhere across the map.
What it does do is delay the reset and the TP back, so Bin gets a lot of time with 3 grubs just picked up to blow up a lot of plates topside, and that gold lead that Zucker just had has disappeared again.
That's true, yep. Bin ends up getting himself some work on that turret. Shun and Knight. I mean, Knight's not really had much to do this game. No. He roamed down that one time, he's blown... you got that 1 assist onto Xiaohu in mid lane, and of course, forces ults out in that 1 3v3-ish bot lane. Was it 4v3?
Oh boy, they see Ura on a ward, and they're just threatening because he's trying to reset, but they know he's trying to reset, and the moment he does that, Elk will not be allowed to stay under that lane without blowing a summoner or 2. Zaka just gets to jump forwards, has got the top lane role quest, who came in with a shield.
There's a question in Onivia's chat. Is BLG playing well, or is Weibo playing badly? Personally, I think this is a BLG playing well moment. I think that the... JJ is the Nebula, I understand that, but this is a Nargoing Mega. They're not going to be able to find a gank here. So, back to that question. I think that the 3 camp into bot lane, and then on-blowing the flash of Elk very early on in lane, that was good plays from BLG. Hang on, they might be able to catch him as he goes mini now. They've not been able to find out JJ that well.
Haganar away, and actually that does mean he's not going to have it. Here comes the mini. JJ has got flash. I think Bin could be dead here. He's not got a flash.
Spends a lot of time to do this. He's really investing a lot into try and catching Bin.
Needs to get it. He's just walking in now. Bin has an idea. Hops away. Oh, no. They'll jump him here. But they have the damage. They probably do with the Renekton Dominus. But there'll be a lot of turret shots back. Shun is there, but not quite in time. Can he get someone at the back end of this? I think they might be stunned up before he gets there.
Shun does have flash.
Ooh,
gets it.
Does get stunned up. Looking for Zucker. Decent hitting the Crescent Guard. Doesn't kill off Zucker. There'll be a knock-up onto JJ. Smite for the slow. Has got that Comet Spear. Misses it. Audacious charge is denied.
Sam, there's a Shen ult. They can Shen onto the LeBlanc. They're putting onto Shun instead.
Boy, here we go. Now Zucker potentially in danger. Does get a decent amount of healing, but goes down. Knight is the one who picks that kill up. In fact, he'll be granted a double.
Oh, the global of On comes up again. The Shen support. You're not used to playing around it. What do you mean there's a guy just floating in as a submarine on someone else? On comes out. The sonar pings were obviously not resonating off the hull in time. Torpedoed in the top lane. Zucker and JJ wait so long.
That's Sean Connery arising from on top of the Shen. He was the commander in Hunt for Red October.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah. Anyway, there's a teleport behind them coming out from... Who's that coming out? It's coming out from LeBlanc. They're getting the trap onto it, though.
Chap. Ooh, Knight is actually possibly just dead here. Yes.
He didn't expect them to see the ward. They managed to scout it out. Elk flashing away.
I think Elk still dies for this. Cleanses didn't need to. The Grand Starfall coming in, but a slow from the volley makes it interesting. Erring left low. Xiaohu also here. I think Bin's going to die. This is getting a lot messier now from BLG suddenly out of nowhere. Between worlds, Xiaohu a little bit in danger though. Flash for the taunt means that the bunny rabbit is looking like she'll be turned into stew, and indeed is. Viper picks that kill up. Shun looking to threat. He's got the 3 Talon Strikes stacked. Won't be able to find someone to jump on and enjoy it.
Yeah, Knight didn't expect them to see the teleport coming in the brush behind them, but they managed to see it. Gust Walker from Shun speeding him up.
It is indeed. Ura's still there. The knock-up for the 3 Talon Strike. The double whimper combining. Shun is absolutely unrelenting. Crescent Guard out as well. Where does the spider drop? Into a hole in the ground. It's 6 foot deep, courtesy of Shun.
So we're 15 minutes in and BLG have a kill a minute. Never mind the combined kills per minute. Weibo have 6 of their own. But it feels like it is just such a hard game for them to play out with this bot lane being put so far behind compared to where they're meant to be. There's no flash on Zucker. This could be a real threat here.
Yeah, he's going to have to Dominus here to survive. Elk is finally around, and I think with the empowered Ruthless Predator will be a bit of a danger, so they can't do anything for that.
Knight only shut down, of course, by the very quick thinking and good reactions of Elk and Erha in that bot side. Full CC, him jumps forwards, gets a good trade onto the Caitlyn. Caitlyn is really bad versus LeBlanc later into the game if Caitlyn is not very, very fed. He has gone for that collective first. In this game, it's fine. You do need that early burst as soon as possible. But he's not far enough ahead to feel like he's really snowballed, Sam. That's the big problem.
Ben's 1 and 3. He's the only person with the poor scoreline. They hang out. How did I deserve this? He's the one person who's been attacked a few times. Ironically, he got MVP last game.
Who did?
Ben did.
Huh.
I mean, he had a lot of damage. He did a lot of turret pressure, and he won the game.
He won the game at the end.
Yeah.
I will say, I think it was Knights was the MVP from game 1. He kept them in the game when everything else was falling apart for them.
Interesting, the players voted for Bin was the one I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I think that Bin was given a lot of resources and didn't pay them off until the very end of the game. The only reason BLG were in game 1 was because of Knight and Shun. He was one of the mid jungle for me. I think they were both very, very solid in that first game. I don't think BLG could have contested unless they had the performance they did. In this game, it's clearly Shun. Shun has read Weibo like a book. I think On is probably my second pick there, actually. He's been, of course, got to end out this game, right? But BLG breaking the early pressure of Weibo, it's very hard for them to fight back. And now BLG, our big questions for them in this playoffs as a whole was effectively, can they find a way to fix their problems with team fighting? Because they're not looking like a strong team fighting team for the LPL right now. Jump onto Vegeta. I think Knight can actually burst him back here against the Honey Fruit.
Nice ethereal chain angle back. Look at Xiaohu, though, he's threatening, but he was on vision when he went across the veil, so Knight will know to run away and we'll be okay here.
We'll do good chunk from Jia. No teleport from Knight to come back onto the map quickly. Herald started by Shun. They've had complete objective dominance. Weibo had they didn't even get one of the grubs. It was 2, and then they despawned. Weibo didn't get a single one. Whereas BLG have 2 dragons, Herald, and 2 grubs. Objective dominance.
Yeah, it is. That is tough to see.
The players voted for Viper, apparently.
Oh, was
so apparently you're mistaken.
So, Mecha said that earlier, and I thought it was the club that voted for that, and it was...
misinformation on my League of Legends LPL stream.
I had this conversation earlier. And my understanding was, it's like, I originally said the team voted for this, and I was like, by which I mean the players. Oh, he rocket belted into it.
Oh, no!
Oh, that is absolutely horrifying.
Oh, Xiaohu, no! I mean, someone must have told him between the last series and this one that it's actually winter and not spring. The spring tiger has gone back to bed. He's gone back to bed. He's in hibernation, Sam.
He's the winter inter. It's back again.
Oh, God. Xiaohu, the first pick Aurora, pentakill in his last game from it. One of his most confident champions across the last couple of years of play. He sees the arrow coming out of him, so he proto-belted into it, Sam. He proto-belted into it. No, don't show it again. No. Oh, God, no.
I will always eat poo.
I can't.
Oh.
Look, he reacts to it. He just reacts in exactly the worst way possible, Sam. Arrow right into the waiting LeBlanc. I can't believe that, Sam.
I almost want to turn to the camera so you guys can see how genuinely despairing I am at that moment. That just feels awful for Xiaohu.
We've had a couple of actual head-in-hand moments so far. Hang on, Knight's going in! Well, folks, Knight is one of the best LeBlanc players across League of Legends history. And when you give him a gold lead like this, you start to see his creative playmaking 2,600 gold ahead. This time does it himself.
Speaking of people who were ridiculously fed, the 3,000 gold in the Shinzao will do just that. Ben, oh sorry, not on, rather, he's getting jumped on here. Will need to jump across the wall here, gets a Spirit's Refuge, gets ignited, will be fine. Confused by the yellow bar on. I went, oh, that'll be the rage bar. I went, actually, no,
it's actually energy, Sam.
It's actually energy, yeah. Went,
I know they hadn't released one of them in like 10 years or something when they finally released Ambessa. It was the last energy champion. I think Ambessa's largely been an okay champion.
I agree.
I think she
took
had
a little while, but once she was there.
I think once she got tamped down a little bit, and stuff like Eclipse got nerfed again. I think she's ended up being strong but not overbearing. She loses enough lane matchups that I don't mind as much.
I think she's also just a cool champion. I think it's nice for top laners to have a champion that feels like, you know what, I can mechanically flex.
Did you see that they're going to be like removing some limitations from Lee Sin because he's no longer the most mobile champion in the game. So like, oh, he can have some extra mobility and like being able to overlap his W cooldown and stuff like that. Hang on, Knight's coming in with the Shen.
Oh, beautiful combo. And there's the Shen, and unfortunately they've got to pick on the other side as well, and the bunny is once again turned into stew.
Sam, this is another game where BLG have made the game not about 5v5. BLG are not, they're not finding themselves tested on their flaws because they're winning so hard in skirmishes in these 1v1 picks that Weibo cannot force BLG into their least favored style, which is that straight honest team fighting. Flash, Cocoon misses.
Didn't quite land it. Knight can potentially look to distort over the wall, will not. There is an ace in the hole, body blocked by Bin because Knight hops behind him and then right back over the wall. Baron going down, there's no way to stop this. They do blow up Bin, but I think Bin is happy enough to say, look, I'm not that valuable, this is okay. And then over comes Knight looking for some damage, can't quite find it. He's now a little alone here, actually. Knight, you may have danced too close to the sun, or at least the Pantheon. Just managed to hop away. When's the next distortion flash from GJ? Era repelling in, and they do get that kill. Bit much there from the solo lanes.
Yeah, solo lanes trying to kind of jackal around the objective, trying to annoy Weibo, stop them from cleanly getting into the pit. And they do stop them getting into the pit, but they now lose 2-4. That's not fantastic. You really need to snowball as much as possible on things like the Gnar and the LeBlanc. No, 1-4. Really struggling because of the amount of pressure put onto him. Weibo has put a lot of resources into shutting down the Gnar. Split map now. BLG pushing mid lane. Weibo cross-mapping, taking top lane.
Should be able to pick up that inhibitor at least, but Elk will be donated as much gold as they can damn well give him. He's at least stayed relatively close to Viper, despite the kill discrepancy. Actually, it's quite good from him on that front. He's got the Infinity Edge now. Looks to reset, probably pick up something resembling a Last Whisper would be my assumption for third item here, and indeed it is. Dragon, though, started by Shun. This will be soul points.
The Ocean Rift as well. Typically not a very high roll soul for most metas, unless you have a tank. But BLG so far ahead. I think they'll just take anything they can get. Weibo, they're just hoping that they can keep their base alive. They have 2 minutes now to see if they can stop the inhibitors being broken. Dodge out on the arrow, good response, but he's going to die anyway.
He is. Big damage, and Knight just blasts him.
It's losing support syndrome. If you're on a losing team as a support, these plays will happen. He's had a couple of good cocoons. It's been a difficult game, though, ever since the laning phase went awry with Shun and On's magic.
He's dead. Bin is going to face check GJ. Zucker's going to come on over. Can they keep on top of him? I think they just can. The slow from the smite should be enough. Zucker may be asked to flash here, but there's a stride breaker after. And Bin, even with the double Mega Gnar, I don't think it's got an option. The double pull away into the boulder toss is good. The Comet Spear, and you know what? I was wrong. He gets another wallop.
Doesn't even have to flash. Awesome play by Bin, who lives on his own in a 1v2. And with the amount of time he's bought, BLG will cleanly break the base in mid and bot lane.
That was well done, and again, Bin has been the sacrificial yordle, I suppose, this game. Out comes the Grand Starfall, on with the Spirit's Refuge, should have left low, but there's the Grand Starfall. Ura goes up into the sky, and unfortunately, JJ may be the one going down, a little like a wounded ox. There is a Guardian Angel proc onto Shun, but Bin with a Shen on top of him will say, here, let's stand united, and let me try and get involved in the fight. Finally, Viper left a little low, but of course, Knight has blown up a number of members, and Zucker will do his best to throw down a combo, but you can throw that big old blade at people as much as you want.
Over the shoulder! Xiao, who has to flash away from the arrow. Knight's chasing him down. This is the end of the game. They have 10 seconds left to the Baron. I think that'll be more than enough.
BLG said, screw team fighting, we just want to skirmish. They turn up bot lane, they never leave, and BLG find themselves 2-0 up, and Weibo go, what the hell happened?
That's a great question, Sam. It wasn't a team fight, it was all about those skirmishes. BLG, the 3v3 in bot lane early, from that man leaving the stage first. Shun destroys this game. Shun and On had a blinder, a wonderful game from the jungle support. Reunited here on BLG. Of course, together for many years, particularly on that BLG 23-24 roster. We remember them very, very fondly. Back together now, and I think that Shun and On just played one of their best games of the split.
Really, really impressive. It was, again, BLG, we've yet to see them after team fight. That's the thing, isn't it? Well, we saw them a little bit in the last game, but like they have basically played from ahead. They played for the lead. This whole draft was, we get a lead. That's the whole point of the draft, and they are doing very well with that. But it's good to see that BLG have figured out how they're going to win games. I will be interested, though, to see whether they can do this as the series goes on, assuming we do get to, say, a fourth game. If Weibo can hold on to this third one, do we start to run out of draft options to allow us or allow BLG to do what they have been doing.
I realized I didn't read out the entirety of the message from Kirby, which I need to go find. What did Kirby say earlier in the sub-message? Okay. Hello, League of Legends caster Nymaera. I'm currently watching the League of Legends Professional League, and I'm currently engaged in your discussion about the best team fighting team. In my opinion, no active team has mastered what I consider optimal team fighting, in which you simply walk across the stage and use your kung fu skills to stop your opponents from being able to play League. Am I going to get arrested for assault? Regards, your ex-Kirby. It depends if you can also fight the police as well. That is the thing. You know, if you can also fight off everyone else they send to you, then clearly they can't arrest you.
You're thinking too much about this, Alex. You've got to remember the ultimate defense. Part 2. Number 1, it's in-game, bro. And 2, it's just a prank, bro. So as long as you use those 2 sentences, the police can't arrest you.
Yes, I actually am aware of that, Dom. I do need to change my Twitch title on that. The problem is I don't have I don't have a great program to edit Twitch files, so I need to go ask Chris to update that rotator, because yes, we've finally got rid of the underscore on the channel here. Finally, after God knows how many years.
So, hey,
appreciate the heads up there. That was somewhere on the to-do list, but there are so many things to do on the to-do list that it somehow, as it happens, fell off a little bit there. This was a very dominant game from BLG, and I think we're clearly seeing what BLG's answer to their team fighting woes has been. Don't 5v5, play towards your stronger 2v2s and 3v3s. That's where you are the best team in the LPL.
I'm going to put the camera back on briefly because I need to do it so I can look you all in the eyes as we go for the spiel. Hello, I'm Initialise. This is my younger brother, Nymaera, who is no longer on screen, but that's okay. I've got a secret for you guys. If you don't want to get advertisements, because who wants adverts, really? If you subscribe, right now, you won't get 3 minutes of adverts. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that incredible? So you've got like just a second or two to subscribe really, really fast. In fact, you get a free subscription every month from this little thing called Twitch Prime. Could be a really good time to use it so you don't get adverts. In 3, 2, 1.
They'll be there in like a handful of seconds because it takes you a while.
Can we zoom out a little bit now? I'm feeling a little bit
self-conscious.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So there were some. Nymaera looks different today. Yeah, I know, right? So if Sam, did you do all of the redeems that were on?
I hadn't done the roast for Corey or Harold. We just hit draft for those.
Did we do these?
I have done those. Yes.
Okay, cool. So compliment for Harold. Because of your carbonara nights, I've started getting a passion for actually like cooking pasta again. Because I was like, actually like, yo, I actually want to learn how to make different kinds of I've always done spag bol, I've always done bolognese, but I'm actually like, I want to learn how to make like actual nice pasta. So for Valentine's Day, Angie found out some pasta recipes and we ended up making some nice pasta.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, this feels good cooking pasta. I hope, and I was like, I hope Harold's proud of me for cooking pasta. So legitimately, I was like, I wonder if Harold would enjoy this. This is a really good response, in fairness. I don't know how they saw that teleport, because I don't think they had vision that brush. They must have just seen the body language and spotted that out. I would love to see their point of view from that.
Yeah.
And then a roast for Montes, and unfortunately, you are American, so there is no food stuff which I would want to cook from your culture. I thank you for your cultural contributions to literally everything else but food. Work on it.
Jokes aside, Texas barbecue is excellent.
It's okay. Never been to Texas. I wouldn't know.
Oh no! Don't show it again. I have to get a coffee. I'm not watching this again.
Oh, can you get me one as well?
Of course, I can.
Oh my god.
I'm assuming you want it standard way.
What about French fries? Those are American. Wasn't the bloke that made isn't the bloke that just did like the 7? You know the kind of the 7 stages of frying fries? Isn't that guy British?
Yeah, the triple cooked chips are British.
Yeah, the triple cooked chips, which is now then became industry standard. Isn't that a British thing? So even the way that you do French fries / chips / whatever, aren't they also like British? Is it Heston Blumenthal? Was that the guy? Fair play. Okay, I am almost set up with the PlayStation. Oh yeah, by the way, a reminder, folks. You need that tuna casserole. I do like tuna. I am a big fan of tuna. I basically found out at some point that steak sauce is basically brown sauce, and Americans are banned from having culinary opinions. What do you mean steak sauce is brown sauce? Shun gets player of the game. Oh, Shun was so good. Thank you for the follows, folks. Yeah, Shun has been very, very powerful for BLG. This guy's really, really good. The Shunzhou. I should start calling it Shunzhou. Yeah, that should be it. I swear I'm not making this up, though I could have messed up the details. I've never heard that. I've actually not tried steak sauce from the US before, so I'm not sure. Because when you have a steak over in, like, Europe, typically you get, like, peppercorn sauce is the big one, I suppose. Sometimes peppercorn's the big one, really. Although you have that in the US, too. Oh, I'm hungry now. Just came in. How likely is a reverse sweep? Not very. I think BLG could take a game, but BLG are just way too good in individual lanes and individual skirmishes. I think that technically Weibo could be a better team fighting team. Maybe, but we've not seen it get to 5v5s. Not really. Oh yeah, so folks, again, I'll give you a quick reminder. So after the games end today, I'm going to be playing Resident Evil Requiem for a little while. So stick around to watch that game. It is release day today, so we'll be able to have like a first look at the game. I've seen all the promo trailers. I'm a big horror gaming fan. I've only really played Resi 7 and Village personally. I've watched playthroughs and I've like taken in the media around Resi, but so this is a continuation of Leon Kennedy's story. He's one of the more famous protagonists within gaming in general. But it's my first Leon Kennedy game myself playing it, so I'm really looking forward to this. You know, it's old Leon now, old man Leon. He's like 50. Yeah. On might be the most criminally overhated player of all time. The thing is, people, this stems from people not watching LPL domestically and watching them globally instead, internationally. Because when BLG have gone internationally, On hasn't been great, in fairness. On hasn't been great. So, I can understand if you watch international events such as MSI last year, or even Worlds last year, looking at On and being like, well, what's the hype about this guy? And I don't think you'd be wrong in saying that. But last year, you look back at Winter and Spring, I think that Knight was BLG's best player, but On was clearly their second best. He was clearly their second best. On was very important to their team. In fact, I think if On consistently has a good tournament, BLG should win an international event. On the 100% is perhaps the only support in the world, I think, which consistently could deal with someone like Carrier. It's just that you only, if you watch international events, you've only seen him on the low swing. If you go back to, a really good example of this is, if you go back to literally week 1 of regular split, this split, if you watch the Alistair game, he plays against anyone's legend. They lose that game, but On very nearly flips it into a win purely through winning a losing lane matchup level 1 by getting a wraparound of the Alistair onto a double range bot lane, which is something which Alistair is meant to lose very hard. I think for the first 2 weeks of regular season, I actually think On was the best support in the world. Rest of the split, no, I don't agree with that, but I think On, at peak, has been utterly dominant. He's been very, very good, and he's very creative. He's one of the few people I can trust to say he knows how to, like, he knows win conditions for a game. Is that right there? I think that's right, cool. Keep getting that nameplate, like, slightly off. No? I think that's it. That'll work, cool. So was Elk the problem? No, I don't think so. I think it's more about BLG wanting to get a higher peak, and Viper does have a higher peak than Elk. Elk is a great AD carry, but I don't think he is I don't think he has ever peaked as best AD carry in the world, and Viper has done several times, and if he does do again, that is an extra bit of firepower which BLG would have over their old version. On is also so funny to slander because you can just say off. Yeah, for sure. And I think also, on the whole, people are just comfortable criticizing T1's rivals because at the end of the day, T1 beats them more often than not at Worlds. Oh yeah, cool. More often than not, T1 beats them. And to a certain degree, to a certain degree, I think that's fine. You know, to the victor go the spoils, and criticizing your opponents is something that you can do. That is valid in many ways. Viper has the highest floor. He does have a very high floor, but I think he also has one of the very highest ceilings. I think the only people which peak higher than Viper are occasionally Goomer and Ruler. I don't think anyone else, I don't think anyone peaks close to Viper. Because if you look at Viper in 2020, well, anywhere between like 2018 and 2022, Viper was so obscenely strong. 2021, I suppose. 22 things went a little bit, whatever. No, aiming doesn't peak that high. No, no, no. Yeah, no, that's the thing about Viper. Viper has an incredibly high floor. But the special thing about him is that he has the high floor and the high peak. Gala has peaked super high in the past too. That's true, and Uzi. Yeah, both of them have peaked very high in the past too. But even then, I think that Viper has peaked higher than them. If you look at his, peak 2021 gameplay, oh my god, Viper was good. Viper last year. No, I think Viper was the best AD carry in the world across the average of last year. Diablo looks promising. Yes, he does. Diablo is a genuinely savant. He's genuinely a savant. He's a prodigy. This guy could be the future of AD carries within League of Legends. He could be. Yeah. Jackie, based off of best games, is also one of the best of all time. For sure, he absolutely is. Jackie Love is up there too. But if you look at purely peak gaming, like the very highest peaks, I think that Viper is one of the greatest to ever do it. He has one of the highest peaks of any AD carry ever, anywhere. I think if you talk about best AD carries of all time, Viper must be on the list. What's a Bacon Butty? Same as a Bacon Bap, Sani, a Bacon Roll. There's actually ongoing pitched battles about whether you call a bacon sandwich, bacon roll, certain titles, I gotta go plug in the PS5. I gotta go, just give me 1 second, folks, and then we'll, I'll get the camera back on. I gotta go pit pushes and shit. I gotta get this position. What can I do here? What can I remove from this? That's a light thing. Yep. Okay, so that should be fine. And then I need to hook up the capture card. Is what I need to do. Yeah, I need to hook up the capture card. Right, 1 second. Okay, it's plugged into this screen. Okay, cool. I now know where it's plugged in. That's a good start. I'm gonna hope it doesn't crash my PC when I have to switch from 2 screens to 1 screen later. Oh, God. Okay. Is that just a burger? No, it's not a burger. Burgers are ground beef. Or, well, I suppose people call chicken burgers burgers too. But, I know, sometimes they call them chicken sandwiches. Particularly in Ireland, it's like a chicken sandwich. Wait, hang on, what? Casey Owner Kometo revealed on his Twitch stream that he had cancelled a collaboration with Mr. Beast. He will instead co-stream his esports team in the LEC in Barcelona. It was good, but we have a title to win. So basically, he could have gone to do something with Mr. Beast, and he's going to co-stream in Barcelona instead. Damn. What did I do with my camera? Hang on. one second. My camera's gone on and off, I guess. Hang on 1 second. You're still off there? There we go. Cool. Alright. Huh. I guess the power cable got knocked. I must have knocked the power cable. That's my bad. Okay, let's get into what could be our last game of the day. Could be a very short day, folks. This song reminds me of Spirit Inspiration, the opening to Zetsu and No Tempest. Yeah. This reminds me of like a very niche anime opening song, and I don't know why that... Well, now I know why that is, because it sounds exactly like it. It's the same guitar tone, but yeah. Did I put on adverts? I did. Good, good, good. Cool. Viper is the second best ADC of all time. Not enough trophies to pass Ruler. I think Deft is the other guy there. I think that personally I have Ruler and Deft above Viper all time, but Viper is on the shortlist. I think that depends how Guma's career goes as well. You know, Guma, can he get success away from Keria, away from Faker? Because if he never finds success away from those two players, it really does knock Guma's standing in greatest of all time, because there will always be that caveat of, well, was it just T1? Was it just Faker or Keria? And while there are definitely this analysis to say otherwise, that caveat will never leave him if he doesn't find that success elsewhere. One of the great things about Viper is that he's found success in so many different places that you can't take it away from him. You can't take it away from him. Viper has performed at so many different levels of play, and if you can do it with BLG as well, yet another LPL team within his very storied career. He is, of course, an LPL world champion with EDG alongside Mako, one of the greatest supporters of all time. Probably the second greatest support of all time. Into the draft we go for game 3. BLG Weibo. BLG have not really had to 5v5 at all. The Ziggs ban signals an Azir ban from BLG. Weibo will want to, I suppose, force that ban into BLG's hands. Banning the Rumble for now, though. First pick will be Weibo's. Will they first pick the Azir? Will BLG ban the Azir last? Questions to be answered. Because that Azir question keeps coming through from BLG. The Ambassadors bans, they're happy to let Xiao Hu have Azir. They're happy to let him have it. Does Knight play something like the Akali instead? Occasionally that has been a counter to the Azir. Okay, so they allow the Azir to go through. This is potentially a very interesting game. Does Knight have another Azir counter? The Ziggs is banned. Do they care about it? Will they just say, well, Azir takes too long to scale and we'll skirmish anyway? Not play for Azir front-to-back teamfights. We'll deny them that. Weibo could be looking for something like the Sion, go for the classic Sion-Azir frontline-backline combo. If that's the case, Bin may have to think about something anti-tank in topside. Viper's Ezreal is very, very good. They could just lock in Ezreal Karma right now and say, screw it. You won't be able to beat this. You won't be able to dominate us in lane. The Varus is gone. The Yunara is gone. The Karma was banned away from BLG in that last game, remember? Sona's fun. Not sure I'll be locked in there. Oh, Knight Syndra. Please give us something fun, Knight. Come on. Yeah. Give us something fun. Give us something fun. He's thinking about his mid lane champion counter picks to the Azir. And we'll get the Karma instead. So we'll have to wait a little longer. As we were saying, for some teams it's seen as a bit of a faux pas to lock in 2 blind picks when you're on the counter pick side of the draft. At the end of the day, when you're on the quote-unquote red side, you you would prefer to be truly counter picking, so you kind of match picks with what's already been locked in. But if there are power picks available, get the counter picks. Wukong Cassante gives Weibo a very good front to back. BLG, can they lock in another composition which can focus more around their skirmishers, or will we finally see them have to truly team fight? They've not had to 5v5 pretty much this entire playoffs. The first round, demolished, absolutely demolished. The first round opponents, it was not close watching them versus NIP. Sion for Bin, they will be front to backing. They will be playing for team fights now. When you have a Sion, you can't really avoid that so much. In fact, that's what you want to play towards. So tank versus tank, Cassante versus Sion. Bit of a wash in the individual matchup. I think BLG just ban away the last remaining survivable bot lane champions. Maybe you ban away Sivir. Maybe ban away the Lulu instead. You could ban away Misfortune. I think you're banning away bot lane champions and things which can survive that bot lane laning phase. BLG, Weibo on the other side. Do they ban away counters to the Azir like the Akali? Or do they ban away something from Shun? Is the Nautilus banned away from Erha? Trying to ban away hook champions, which provide more engage for the team. The Akali is banned away. Zahen probably. Yeah, I mean, Shun could go for the Zahen. He could do. There's a potential there. There's also Poppy as well, actually, technically, for Shun. Could lock that in. Oh, no, it's banned. But Poppy's been banned the entire place. I don't know why I think that would have gone through. Hey, Sam, how's it going?
Probably doing a slight delay there.
It's all good. Just watch out for the PlayStation there. I have plugged it in now and stuff. And the Lucian. Okay, banning away Lucian. You could go Corki Nami now. That'd be one of the last remaining kind of like more lane dominant picks. There you go. Just rotating the chair legs around. We've got a little bit of a...
We have Monty raid earlier. We could talk about rotations.
Oh, that's true. So basically, because we have a very thin space to like work here, trying to get the chair around the mic stand requires some very intricate rotations, you see.
Yeah. As we all know, that rotations are the core of League of Legends.
Yeah, they are. Of course they are. We are actually going to see a true front-to-back stand. We have a Sion, a Cassante, there's a Cassante Azir. BLG, not going to get two of their better counters into the Azir. Well, the Ziggs was banned, the Akali was banned, the Yone was banned. Syndra, fun for Knight. He's one of the best players of that of all time too.
And between that and the Ezreal, suddenly you get, and even the Karma to an extent, particularly in the early stages, your ability to just throw some poke out from range is going to be quite strong this game. I also just quite like Syndra into tanks. Post a certain point, her W's on a ridiculously short cooldown. She keeps smacking tanks with it, and they go, hang on, wait, I just lost 5% of my HP 3 times in a row.
Hyper late game, yes, but you need to snowball. That's the nature of it. Sivir is locked in, the Sivir Yume is there, and Elk is a very good Sivir player. I was wondering whether they should ban away some of those enchanters. They banned away some of the more kill lanes instead. Sivir Yume, not what I expected. I would have expected something like a Corki Nami instead. The Yume locked in. Weibo have a very good front to back. It scales magnificently. BLG, thinking about what they picked for Shun now.
I wonder with Shun being left the last pick, whether they're looking for something a little bit more spicy. The Neferi would certainly be it. You can't really spell shield the Neferi getting on top of you. You can stop the damage part of that ult, but if she gets there, she gets there. And that could potentially be a way to manage something like that Azir or that Sivir.
A lot of last year on JDG for Shun was on Neferi duty. He was a pretty good Neferi. In fact, when JDG were winning, it was often through quite feast or famine for Shun. Not all of it was good. I think last year was a struggle for him. Now he gets to bring that Neferi back to BLG. Of course, last time he was on BLG, Neferi wasn't really a champion. They hadn't done that rework yet. It only really came through last year after Shun was already gone. We're going to go into a quick ad break. We'll get on to what could be last game of the day already, Sam. It could be a very short day.
I mean, I even did my little spiel earlier, guys. If you don't want the ad, just have to subscribe.
By the way, we just passed 10,500 followers as well, so we appreciate every single one of you there. Honestly, having a community like yourselves across the various streams makes it so much easier for us to do this. We enjoy bringing this to you just as much as we hope that you enjoy the stream as well. Let's get into it, Sam. LPL action once again. BLG versus Weibo, two of our most notorious, notable teams here from China over the last 3 years. At it once again. BLG dominating this. Skill shot accuracy, not on point there, Sam.
That's the reason they coach and they don't play.
That's the reason, Sam, that's the reason they coach, because they don't have hands. Or at least they don't have
the accuracy. Oh my god, they don't have hands? What do they have instead?
Well, I didn't see them touch hands there, Sam. Until they touch hands, I'm not convinced they have hands.
Right, so there's an object permanence issue here, I see.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't see any interaction between those objects. It's like, can you prove the existence of a neutrino if it doesn't interact with anything?
But it's true, but I thought neutrinos did very, very occasionally.
Yes, and that's why we know they exist. That's exactly why.
So because they didn't see the fists interact, they don't know.
Exactly. Right. We're actually, they're just theoretical fists of this. Well, let's talk about those Gyos and get into game 3.
Do they exist?
Yes.
Gyos completed. Null hypothesis disproved. We have in fact got Gyos and they do exist.
Well, looking for level 1 Syndra poke. Doesn't actually land that Q there. I think that was just the auto attack.
But I may be wrong.
The comet didn't go through. So
you're so right. In that case, you're good deduction there.
That and also you only saw like what the full. You saw the full bone plating there too. So it had all 3 rotating things around it. So you only took 1 instance of damage.
Ooh, hang on, the exhaust coming down. On's in a lot of danger here. Wow, early Sivir damage is good, but the turnaround with the soul flare now. Elk's in danger. Needs to get the bottom block. Flash away. Last auto gets it. Viper now in danger, or doing the danger rather as Ura is forced to run away.
So they did that with the teleport ADC. Viper is just better. Stacks up the lethal tempo, and this is why damage on the AD carry outvalues the damage onto the support. On flashes away, and then you have basically a full HP of Ezreal right up in your business with a full stacked lethal tempo. Elk, he was the one taking the damage because the Yumi's a Yumi. He's stuck on you. Yeah, does his best, but the Sivir Yumi tries to fight hard, and they lose the flip. That is disaster for Weibo.
They burn Flash, Barrier, Exhaust, and Heal there. Yes, Viper's down a lot of his options there, but it's still really rough to see. You've still got the Flash on, and now actually, how do you play this lane out?
Great question, Sam. You just have to soak farm now. You just have to soak farm and just hope that things work out. We're going to go watch this again. I really want to see what happens with just the damage across the place. It's a very good... That's not even the ult Q. That's the Q splash damage. You're not expecting to get onto 2 there. But Al gets the auto attack reset. It's a good exhaust from Air, who then body blocks the Qs. Air is doing his job really well there. But then, of course, the mantra comes back up and the damage is onto On, not onto Viper. I actually think Air plays that fairly well.
Yeah.
They do that all right. It's just the power of the Ezreal Karma is so nasty.
Yeah, and the problem is the damage has somewhat been done. It's going to have to be another reset. Elk came back to lane, having gotten a control ward, and that was it. He's still not got a bind. Viper got to TP for a Fairy Charm and a Nana and a Tia at, what, minute 1?
Honestly, just looking back at that 2v2 again, I don't even think Weibo played that badly. I mean, the damage going onto the Karma and not onto the Ezreal, that's the problem, right? But, you know, On gets 2 AoE Qs in the fight, one of them being a non-ultimate, one of them being an ultimate. That's the big difference. JJ could be jumped onto here.
Comes to Dark and Daggers. There's a Ghost being burned there from Knight to come join in. JJ's dead.
He's just dead. Can't even flash away. Shun and Knight come around the corner. Knight pops the Ghost. And the kill to the Syndra already causes a lot of worry now for Weibo, because it's happening against them. The early game lead from BLG is coming out of nowhere. If BLG can continue to get these leads against LPL teams, and we'll see how far up the table that will carry them, BLG may be able to kind of get away from those flaws that we've been talking about them having, which is actually the team fights aren't looking fantastic. It doesn't matter if the other team doesn't survive to the team fights.
Because what is fantastic from BLG is their ability to skirmish and hard force plays on their terms. The tempo is relentless. On flashes in. He still had that summoner. He's got the focused resolve. A little bit of a mantra W ensures a very dead Sivir. And now the little cat gets skinned. Mystic shot from Viper. He is heat seeking on the Ezreal.
Dude, I just realized how good the lethal tempo on Ezreal is against the Sivir, because it means your auto attacks, the thing that you can't spell shield, is where you're getting most of your damage. He stacks up that keystone, and Elk can't get enough safety. Great flash from On. Viper and On have been monstering this 2v2. This is the best we have seen Viper and On play between last game and this game. We've seen them in the entire split. This is scary. If Viper and On are coming together as a 2v2 for the first time in this split, in this year, perhaps BLG will start delivering on more promises, which they've kept us waiting on.
And that's with the caveat as well here, and an important one as well, that Elk and Ura were probably the best performing bot lane across the regular season in the LPL. They were dangerous as hell. Think back to those early Kai'Sa games from Elk. Think about some of those Corki and Lucian games in the regular season. Elk has been a monster this split. And to have these kind of moments between him and Ura go so wrong is a bit problematic. Of course, Ura did just blow that flash. Elk doesn't have a real way to disengage that. Just check in the background, though. There is a Wukong just off the top of the screen. So I'm going to hold my lines here a little because there is a counter gank angle.
Gosh, if Ezreal gets really fed, at that point, the front to back gets harder. Gets a lot harder. Now, Ezreal's not always the champion you want. Well, Ezreal typically not the champion you want to see whacking a Cassante, because the Cassante just kind of shrugs it off. In a game like this, though, when you're already 1.5k up and your Sivir has been decelerated so much,
He's just had brakes. There's no accelerator pedal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, technically, braking is actually accelerating in the negative direction.
Okay,
it
you
is.
smug physicist,
It's a change of velocity, and it does in a negative value. You know, or not in a I suppose negative value.
You know what I say to that?
What?
Nerd.
Sam,
be quiet. Talk about League of Legends. Chad thing to do.
Yeah, we're such
right jocks
now.
here. And none of this mathy, physicist-y, nerdy stuff. None of that.
Screw you! I'm gonna go pick up power converters from Toshi Power Station.
Go join the rebellion.
Oh gosh, that's the clean feed just stuttering a little bit there. That's not on us, I don't think. I can see the little graphic still moving about. All good. Cole picked up from Elk. He's just going to have to try and hunker down. Trying to hunker down, but it's so hard to avoid the Ezreal Karma now. You're going to get poked out. There's a potential of more kills, and if he walks up, he does have a flash, but I'm not sure it'll save him.
Actually, so as the focus resolves with the empowered stun, the heal is burned, and actually look who's coming down. Knight with the level 6.
He doesn't have the ghost, but he can make it down here anyway. There's a barrier from Elk. His spell shield on cooldown for now. He's not going to be able to catch him. He will be forced off of the turret, though, will Elk. Losing another wave, losing a plate to Viper. The bot lane role quest now comes into question because you have 3 kills to Viper, a plate. All of these have happened within the lane, and the farm is in his favor as well. He's 30 CS up. Elk is probably going to be, I would say, about 4 minutes behind on his role quest compared to Viper.
To finish my leitmotif. Aww, didn't find the play. Never mind. They still get to force Elk and crew off there as Alex so adroitly described. Elk.
Oh, 2-level advantage, by the way.
Oh, God almighty. It's a 30 CS lead as well. It's double the CS, basically.
Guess what I just said, Sim?
Yeah.
Double not quite there yet, but close enough to... Viper has teleport to go reset whenever he wants, by the way, which is even... This is the more impressive thing from BLG. This is obviously a crazy duo, and you can understand now why the Karma has been banned away from On. This has been one of the best Karma laning phases I've seen in recent memory. And they're doing this with 1 less combat summoner. In fact, 2 less combat summoners because Yuumi brings 2. Viper has the teleport, can't even use that in the fights.
My take on is the best Karma in the world. He uses the W on Karma like no one else. He is so aggressive with that route that in a way that forces incredible danger. He uses Karma as a legit engage option.
I can't think of many other names I'd put onto the table. Yeah, I think if you purely look at him as a playmaking Karma, definitely the best at that. Stealing away the blue buff in a way that only Syndra can. What a champion, folks. Always guarantee the camp steals.
Yeah, not a lot you get to do about that, and that just means JJ down a camp. Feels kind of rough about it. You've got the Hound's Pursuit available for Shun at some point. Yet to need to burn it, really. Knight's gotten the kill early. Viper's got 3 of them. And I think there's another W onto JJ, who does not get to clone away from that. On again, the focus resolves. The renewals are disgusting.
JJ needs to be so careful now because there could actually be an Ethereal coming over. You can use the Cyclone to disengage. I mean, BLG still needs to be careful here. Say that. There's no HP on the Wukong. That's going to cause some issues.
Two-shot barrage.
Tags him! Gets the shot from downtown, and no, they have no Cyclone. The inclement weather's gone. Clear skies for Shun to jump forwards. Won't go any further. Awesome shot from Viper, who is 4 kills up.
Wow, it just... The reason that Shun doesn't pull the trigger is because he trusts Viper to have it, and he can follow up if required. It is devastating out here for the side of Weibo Gaming, who are being manhandled by Billy Gaming.
JJ was arguably second best jungler in the league in regular split. I personally thought it was Shun, but a lot of people were saying it was JJ, and I think there was some logic to that. Hang on, Xiao, who might get himself a sweep forward, especially with the shuffle used. JJ was behind him. Knight now longer feels that threatened, though. Hope from Knight. This bot lane has been so good. Hang on, Knight's going for the solo kill! Knight to M4. Solo kill onto Xiaohoot. Don't know why I said M4, but it's the mid lane. That's the one. It's not quite on the chessboard, but Knight still handing out and moving in L's all the same.
Knight takes Emperor.
Damn, wish I thought of that one, Sam. That's really good. It's really good. Damn. Knight 2 kills in himself. It's really important, you know, if you can start playing stuff like the Syndra versus the Azir. The regular season was BLG trying to make the Azir work, and it just didn't. It just didn't work for them. If they can just play the Syndra, the Azir counters, like Syndra, which Knight is perhaps the best player in the world at, play stuff like the Ziggs, which he's incredibly good at too, then BLG don't have to worry about that champion nearly as much.
Finn does get all outed here, and that's just as the Sivir is roaming up here with the Yuumi. Finn will ult away, does so. Jijia around, Sivir, Yuumi around. I'm putting this out there. This is a roam well before bot lane role quest is complete, so this is going to have to work out as a dive. Finn, with no ult, to try and clear out the wave best he can. Likely knows he's dead, but is doing his best to buy a lot of time, and that wave is gone. This is not a clean dive at all.
Hang on, Shun, he has his ultimate. Can he chase up? The Cyclone is down. Ezreal ult goes wide. It is a good kill. Now we get to see, we're actually getting to the point where Ezreal should be getting the role quest. In fact, he might get it on this tower plate now. It's going to be about an 11-minute quest. There you go. It is exactly that. Now we start the timer. 11-minute quest is the fastest role quest I have seen in pro play. How far behind is Elk going to be? I'm going to imagine he'll pocket later than 14 minutes. I think he's going to have a full 3 minutes down because he's now outside the lane. He's not got any kills. He's not really got that much farm. Well, sorry, he's got the 1 kill, but surely doesn't really matter at this point. That is going to lead to 3 to 4 minutes of extra gold income from the bot lane passive. For those of you that missed the patch notes earlier this year, or you're tuning in just for playoffs, when bot lane completes their role quest, you can see that on your top of your screen beneath the scoreboard, you get an extra gold per minion killed. Now what that means is 3 minutes, that's what, 6 odd waves? Call that, like 36 odd farm, slightly less actually. That's going to be, an extra almost 100 gold up just from that.
Scout for weeks, the Xiaohu slides in, gets the Amplified under the turret. That's not bad from Xiaohu, they're probably still a level down, and Knight just runs away from him and goes, cool.
I know I did just round up 36 to like 100, but it's going to be an extra amount of gold, and the more that you get to farm, and of course if Elk ends up losing that farm, the worse it gets. And now, of course, the thing with the Ezreal now completing their ult quest, they can leave. They can go into whatever else. They're not tied to bot lane anymore. Bin doesn't have ult again.
We'll try and clear the wave like he does, but here comes Shun. This makes this a bit more interesting. He's tanky enough. They're going to have to back up on this one.
And Shun has the ult. If they go any deeper, he can just chase them down, point and click, I believe. Oh, sorry, it's just on cooldown, actually. I believe I'm not with that. But Shun could have followed up. Viper alone in top lane. Now Karma can go roaming. He's walking towards the bot side of the map. Knight's on the reset, but I think with Neferi and Karma on the map, they won't care. Sam, we have an individual gold lead for an Ezreal at over 3,000 gold.
Oh, Lord Almighty.
13 minutes. This is one of the best bot lane laning phases we have seen in LPL the entire year. This is absurdly good, and this is what we hoped Viper would bring. He does need to teleport into the fight, though.
Behead stolen, it's an early smite.
It's not even a fight as well. It's an early smite. You're absolutely right. Shun just goes in, takes that down, gets himself the second dragon. It's a mountain rift too. Huge win for BLG.
We have just found ourselves with a 60 CS lead bot lane at 13 minutes. Shun against JJ, and JJ, for the record, we nicknamed the Prince of Thieves here because the man's smite key is so iconic. He has stolen so many objectives. This time around, he ends up fumbling at Viper. Can't quite get the interrupt there, but it was close run thing. Mid lane turret falls, and Billy Gaming have played for early game demolition. They have turned up and demolished it.
So Viper has taken all 3 out of turrets. JJ jumps over the wall. I don't think he knew that Shun was there. Here comes Zerka. He can drag him over the wall.
Barrage makes it tricky. Doesn't get the drag over the wall. On flashes away, speeds away as well, and Zerka is just not tanky to Knight and Viper at this point in the game.
Viper gets traded onto by Xiaohu, but it doesn't matter. Karma lives. That is not the angle which Zerka would have wanted. Can't drag on over the wall. Means that he lives. Means that On lives. Nothing going well for Weibo here. LPL playoffs is a special time, folks, because regular season is where teams have a time to figure things out. Obviously, it's different from years past when you had the double round robin, just so many best of 3s. It was a grueling split. Not that it's not a grueling split anyway. But really, this is where, when we get into playoffs, teams start to become more what we expect to see of them as the year goes on, especially when you get these first splits of the year. Back in 2023, that's when BLG went from like a no-name middle-of-the-pack team to a team which went to MSI Finals, went to Summer Greatness, and then became a great team. We've seen that for so many teams over time. Playoffs is where they lock in and start figuring out how they actually want to play the game. BLG finished second in regular split, but given the perspective of them perhaps being best roster in the LPL, team that should be competing internationally, it wasn't enough for them. This kind of gameplay where they dominate lanes like this, and Viper and On start to lock in. This is more what we expected for them.
You need to get the spell shield really right. Actually, now Knight's in danger. They're running at him. They had an idea that he might be around. Throws out the Force of Will. The slow's there. The final chapter, the flash. The Emperor's Divide. Knight fails his flash out. Will die.
Flashes while the ult's being cast, goes down, and BLG do fall for the bush bait of Weibo. It's good from them to get that vision play. Viper is still here, though, and he won't be able to get that much else from this side of the map. Good kill on tonight. Both summoners down. Good sweep by Xiaohu.
This is the kind of playmaking that Weibo wanted to be making from an even state. They are down 7,000 gold doing it. That's been the problem this series. Game 1, they drafted double Cullen a tier start to try and get to mid-game. It didn't happen. Game 2, we remember the bot lane. This time around, again, it's bot lane, but again, we have seen every lane, with the exception of top, which is a tank bloody matchup, also be absolutely rolled before they can make these kind of plays.
Yeah, not to add insult to injury to Weibo, typically expect a Muramana to be completed 21 to 22 minutes into the game. Viper will complete it at about 17 minutes. He'll have like 1 more minute to stack it up, and then he'll effectively have that. He's going to be, like about 4 or 5 minutes faster on that item, which are time-dependent items. And once you hit that second item spike of the completion of that Muramana transformation, Viper will be, bar none, the strongest person on the Rift. He already is, but this is where he goes into overdrive.
2-item spike on Ezreal has been a talking point for many years. BLG with a 75% chance to win at this point, and I don't think that's a surprise.
Yeah, I think Ezreal is genuinely the strongest AD carry of all time. He's forever been in the back pocket of AD carries. He used to be the AD carry you proved yourself on to be a great AD carry. Viper is doing it here again in 2026.
We were conservative. It wasn't 17 minutes. It was sub 16:30. Oh!
Yeah, and that's the problem now. The ultimate becomes a barrage.
Oh, not bad smite. Actually, on might die for that. No, he doesn't! And Knight gets the kill onto Elk, and now Viper throwing up Mystic shots. Oh, man, Weibo nearly caught the greed from BLG, but again, they're so far ahead, they get to play with this kind of swagger, bolshiness.
Sam, BLG have maybe had to take like two 5v5s in this entire playoff so far. Teams have not been able to survive versus them. We are waiting for that question of BLG of who can survive the early game against them. Will it be a JDG if they win this series? They'll face them next. Would it be an Anyone's Legend if they meet them later into the bracket? Who knows? BLG, at this moment in time, have not had the questions asked of them that they were in the regular split. The early game has been, frankly, far too good.
I want people to go back over a decade now, folks.
Yeah, long time.
Who remembers the team called Samsung White?
I remember that, Sam.
Do you remember how Samsung White used to win the game, Alex?
Yeah, this was the question of going into 2014 Worlds, right? How did they used to win? Through that early game. You know what, Sam? I really love that you bring that up. I love that you bring that up. Samsung White in 2014 Worlds, a little history lesson for you all, were viewed as a worse team than Samsung Blue, their sister team, because Samsung Blue were the best late game team in the world. However, when it came to the World Championship, Mata, Dandy were so good at ruling the early game that it never mattered. They never got to late game pretty much at all in the entire tournament. Maybe once, the entire bracket. That's not a bad comparison to draw, Sam. Now, Samsung White were quite clearly the best team at that World Championship and one of the greatest teams of all time. But the theory stands. If you don't win in late game, don't let teams get you to late game. You just beat them in the face until they fall over before then.
I'm all for improving the things you're bad at, but you can't lose the things that made you great in the first place, and BLG are great at this style of play.
And what just happened there was Sam sung Samsung's praises. Did I steal that from chat? Yes. Will I give them credit? Perhaps. Depends how nice they are. Okay, oh no, you did great there. Okay, I will actually give you the credit. That's a good one. I like that. See, this is a collaborative casting experience. If you give us good lines, we will actually just use one cast.
Yeah. Well, welcome to like community casting, guys.
Yeah.
It's very NLC coded of this.
Oh, shut up. Yeah. No, this is like as close to like chat GPT casting as you'll get from us. You know, like we just go we scrape our chats for the extra functions in there.
I see Amber enjoyed that comment. Yeah. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. That's all I'll say.
So BLG, incredible vision control across the rift. Viper building up towards a third item now. Elk is stuck on 1.5. He did end up cashing in his coal. He did get his bot lane roll quest. He's managed to get a little bit more gold in place. He is still, however, down over 60 CS. It is a real mess, Sam, or just around 60 CS rather. Around that point. 3.5 minutes until Weibo will have to defend against a Mountain Soul very early into the game. Baron has now spawned. Any mistake Weibo make now will lead to that. However, BLG, they still need to be disciplined. If, say, Viper dies randomly, Weibo might be able to convert that into a Baron. That's the one win condition which Weibo have.
And Shahu on that potential flank angle. Yeah, you were right on that potential Baron angle. You're right. Mountain Dragon available in 3 minutes. Knight trades well onto this Cassandra, who goes all out and therefore loses a lot of his resist. There's a shotgun, lead bullets of stun flying out, and then Jokes kills him. There's nothing more to be done.
Lands the Essence Flux. There is a rotation coming round. Teleport's coming through. Knight's used a lot of his cooldowns and his HP.
Oh, Scout of the Week is solid flashes away, and there's a heal from On, who says, "You will never kill my mid laner."
I can't, Sam. When I saw this roster built up from BLG, this is what I was expecting. It's taken us, you know, a couple of months to see it, but BLG, Knight and Viper popping off.
They have made it hurt. Soldier and the Snake are just a little bit too dangerous, aren't they? There's a Game of Thrones series in that somewhere, probably.
We can start calling this duo Sir Viper, because Viper's been knighted.
Where did we not get that Galoran version of Sir Viper?
Well, Night Viper.
Yeah, Sir Viper, yeah.
We had Surfetch. That's about as close
true.
as we got. Okay, well, for anyone who wants like the national Pokemon of BLG, it is now Sir Viper. Flash forwards from Zucker, tried to get that solo kill in the side lane. Realized he might have been able to get a rotation down from his teammates. They're just too far behind. I don't think it's a bad decision. It's just your teammates are far too late to the play. And you've used your W, which is your one bit of tankiness. Ascens spots through the wave. Knight's caught out here, no summoners.
Echoes of Helia shielding is ridiculous. They just don't have the damage. JJ goes down. Viper gets another. He's 5-0-3. And I think he could be hungry for a kill or two more.
Helk will be able to shuffle, move himself away. I say shuffle, and that was that's more of Granddaddy's composition there, really. It is a bring your daughter to work day composition for Weibo, and it's a bad day at the office. Sam, Azir, and Sivir not really able to do that whole business thing.
Company's in administration. All the while, of course, the jungler's dead, and that means Baron's going down. The stock market's crashing.
There's a teleport just north of the pit. Zucker is around, doesn't have flash, does have all out. Here comes Azir, maybe a sweep.
Oh, remember, burned all the summons to save Knight in that last play. Viper got the Endless Hunger, healing up well, but that's a good chunk from Zucker onto him. All out, stops the use of the Arcane Shift, but Xiaohu should get that kill. That's decent. Storm Surge proc allows the kill onto Ura, though, so yes, you killed Viper, but you lost many members to make it happen. They don't get Baron, though, as a result.
Yeah.
So Weibo, you know what? That's probably best case scenario.
It is, but they've also now lost 2 members in the build up to the Mountain Assault. It's a good kill on Viper. It's really well played from both Zucker and Xiaohu to get into melee range and force him to die. Really important moment for them. It's a 1,000 gold shutdown to Xiaohu's Azir. Still 2,000 gold himself, by the way, in that mid lane matchup. Knight has really proved that the Azir is not a problem for him in this game. This is a really important moment for BLG in general, because if it's not just the Ziggs they can play into, but also the Syndra, the Akali that was banned away, the Yone which is banned away. If you have multiple Azir counters, perhaps that Azir draft issue much less troubling for them.
Medjay's NLR and a Storm Surge for the side of Knight, jumping onto JJ one more time to prevent anything resembling a Baron sneak away. That was a really good conversation. Not good for the House Pursuit there. Got a little bit worried there with the observers zooming in. They thought something might be on offer there. Wasn't going to happen. But basically, there was a really good conversation from one of the Riot devs talking about Storm Surge and how it's kind of a bit maligned. Basically because its visual design doesn't actually reflect what it does anymore. It's no longer really a burst item which the visuals give you. It implies that this lightning bolt coming from the heavens is supposed to be this big proc of damage, and that's just not the case for the item anymore. It's the stats that are really good on it, the move speed that's really good on it. It's a good item, it's just quite unsatisfying to look at, which makes people really underestimate what it's actually offering to you. And I think in this game, in the position you're in, that move speed, that little bit of burst from beyond range could be very nice, and that's going to be an interrupt on the back as well.
I've been taken aback by how BLG played. They were not this disciplined in regular season. They were definitely not this lethal either. In regular season, it felt like, Shun and Knight had it together. The rest of the team were figuring things out. On was mercurial, as he often tends to be. We didn't really see the best of Viper and On as a duo. Now we've seen Shun 3v3 with them. We've seen On and Viper 2v2. Knight and Shun still very, very strong together. I mean, as I was saying earlier in the series, it felt like for BLG, who now have the Mountain Assault, this game is about as good as done with 2 Mountain Dragons for a Scion with 0 kill participation. He will make his presence known at some point. Now, BLG, this has been wonderful to see them go beyond that 1 string on the bow.
It's a 4-level lead in jungle in the Flame Horizon.
That it is. Jie, we were wondering whether he was 2nd or 3rd best to Shun. He's definitely been put behind him here.
Oh, there's an ult, the Unstoppable Force into Knight, just popping him with a Dark Sphere. And the Storm Surge proc looks pretty, even if the damage has been nerfed overall this time. Elk gets eaten alive here, gets scattered. There is no spell shield in the world that can stop death like that. Knight gets another into the base, goes Shun. Hound's Pursuit onto Xiaohu, who's got a shield from a cat, but I don't think it'll matter with the Eclipse procs coming on forwards. Another shield. The ult is no longer necessary. They've murdered everyone, the game is over.
Syndra scatters Azir and Sivir to the wind, and perhaps that wind will carry their corpses back to Shurima. It won't be going back in honor, though. This has been a destruction. Shurima has fallen. BLG rises.
The heirs apparent to the LPL may well just be Billy Gaming. At what point the LPL's champions to be best in the world? Last year they fumbled. This split they are revamped, revived, and absolutely ruthless. They will rout Weibo Gaming, and there will be no more games to play.
Knight gifts a kill over to Elk as a passing gift, a parting gift. BLG.
Some regards.
This is the best we have seen BLG play as a unit, and it is happening at an important point in playoffs. The trajectory looks good for them. They now face JDG, a team which beats them twice in regular season. Despite the fact that JDG had their own worst trajectory, they just beat anyone's legend in a 5-game series. You cannot underestimate JDG in the next round. Even though BLG dominated here, JDG as an organization have had BLG's number over time. Remember back to that 2023, of course, when Knight was on their roster. That was the worst days for BLG against them. But even since that point, BLG have had struggles against them. We shall see whether they can change that storybook in the next time they face them in that upper bracket.
So, 2 things. First off, yes, we'll be back same time tomorrow. That's 10 a.m. CET for the game. Be alive slightly before that. Number 2, don't leave yet. Alex will be continuing to stream after this to play some Resident Evil, which should be a really good time. So actually, stick around. We're not going to be raiding me today. We'll be letting Alex play some video games. It should be a really fun time. So actually, for those of you who do want to stick around, should be a good time. YouTube viewers, specifically Onivia, if you guys want to come watch, find Alex's YouTube channel. It'll be at AlexHatford or Nymaera on there, and Nymaera on Twitch. It's easy to find. Also, on top of all that, a couple last bits of housekeeping. Number 1, follow the channel if you haven't already. Very easy thing to do. Means the world to us. We are hunting for 11k over the next month or so. If we can make it happen, we managed to pick up 500 or so in the last month and a bit, which is pretty awesome. Actually, more than next week. We were just shy of 10,000. It's been a really good uptick in those follows. Awesome. So if you've not hit the follow button, do. If you want to offer some more support, subscription means a massive deal. We do these shoutouts, we do these shilling bits because it actually means that people do, in fact, well, subscribe. So it gets annoying, but if you do help support the both of us to make a living out of this, we appreciate all of you that do. Mecha, again, thank you for that monster gift bomb. Thank you for all of you who subbed earlier in the channel as well. We picked up a fair amount of support here today, to say the least. So thank you so much. I'm at Initialise as well, so follow me. I will be streaming later on this evening, I suspect, at some point. But I will be on this afternoon. And we will leave today's games here. Done. Alex, how do you want to do this? Are you going to want to take a second to set things up? Play?
So I need this chair out of here.
That's fine, I can do that.
I'm gonna leave it on this for now up until because I've got to make sure that this is now going onto that stream. I'm just gonna make sure that my OBS is fine and hope that things don't crash when I change from 2 screens to 1 on my PC. It can sometimes get a little bit way there. I'm gonna get started as soon as I can though, folks. And
thank you, Sarah, for the gifted sub. There you go. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Cool. Let's get this out of here and let's get things sorted around. You're gonna have to give me like 1 moment, folks, while I sort things out real quick. I think I'm largely set up though, luckily, which helps me an awful lot. That's dragging. Yeah, good. Okay, let me change over the. Yes, it is. You are completely right there, Sam. Okay, so let's get started on with some resi. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoy this game, folks, because I've been hearing some very, very good things about it. And, right, what am I gonna do? So first off, I need to... Okay. Capture card, is that on? Yes, it is. Capture card is on. I need to... Can I blacklist Sarah from gifting me subs? I don't know, can you? Okay. Okay, let's switch through to that. And okay, if you're on YouTube, the stream will end here. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you tomorrow for more.